everyone. Hello. Welcome to episode 277 of Synth Geekery. It is 2025, if you hadn't wondered. If you had wondered, I don't know, you're a couple of days late. Anyway, we're streaming live from Perth in Western Australia, if you haven't gathered that by my weird accent. It's about 9 p.m. here, so we're, whatever it is in your part of the world, it's definitely probably not 9 p.m. Anyway, what is Synth Geekery? If you're new here, it is a weekly live podcast about synthesizers, sequencers, drum machines, digital audio workstations, and other music tech. We have a regular segment each week, and we try to cover the show topic each week as well. We'll bring you the show for now 6 years, I believe. So, yeah, make sure you stick around and subscribe and do all that sort of stuff. You can support us if you like. There's a couple of ways to support us. There's a link in the chat on YouTube if you're wanting on YouTube. You can do TTSs through Streamlabs, which is good because it only takes 3% commission, or you can just do super chats if you like. If you're watching this on the other streaming platforms, which, by the way, we also are streaming on TikTok. I wonder how that's going, because, you know, people aren't watching scantily clad women dancing silly dances. They're watching some old geezer in front of his synths. Anyway, hopefully that works out wonderful for you.
Get a purple puppet.
It's it. Anyway, a reminder that
It's not a puppet.
you guys can get everything in there.
Spoiler.
On the show on the Ranzee.com website. You guys can check that out later on. But just to sort of remind you guys, there's the Streamlabs link if you want to do a TTS, or text-to-speech is what TTS is. And we also have Zoom. You can make yourself available. Join the show live with your camera and your mic, and you don't have to have your camera on. Sit there in your undies. I don't care. Join the show. It's 2025. Do something new this year. Join the show with your phone, with your tablet, with your laptop, with your PC. I don't know. What else could it possibly be, with some weird dongle that you are in space? I'm not sure. Anyway, join the show somehow. But please do enjoy. We've got regular guests that join us for the last, God knows how many years these guys have been putting up with me for. But anyway, it's lovely to have them. We have Daren and Andy, Ian and Chris, and they've hung around now for a few years, each of them. Daren is probably the oldest piece of furniture here. Feel sorry for you, Daren.
Yeah,
I don't really know why you're still here, but anyway, I really do appreciate your support, mate. That's for sure. Just so you guys know, when we're streaming through these multiple platforms. So if you are on Twitch, don't forget to follow us or do a Prime. What do you call it? Prime thing? I don't know what. I'm not really up with the Twitch lingo. Sorry, guys. Yeah. And if you're on those other platforms, do that sort of stuff, because these guys and the algorithm love the likes and the subscribes and all that sort of stuff. Daren's coming from Manchester in the UK. Andy, who's on the far right, top right-hand corner, he comes from San Fran in the United States. And down the bottom below me is Ian, and he comes from Frome in the UK, which is kind of, if I remember rightly, it's kind of below Bath, isn't it?
Yeah, we're about 16 miles from Bath. It's southwest.
Bath is probably your nearest town, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah. So you're not far from Sonic State Land, actually.
No. I keep threatening Nick to go over, actually.
You should. You should say good day to him. He's a good fella. And then on the in the middle down the bottom is Chris, and he's actually streaming from my city in Perth in Western Australia as well. So if you guys want to join the show, there's actually a spare spot in the bottom right-hand corner. Let us know. Hit us up. You can do it right now if you want, which I said before. You can just join us on Zoom. So far, no one's in there. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because there's plenty of room. You guys can come and go as you please anyway. Right, 2025. Can you guys believe it? We've reached a quarter of a century since we had that weird millennium Y2K bug thing.
Oh, I remember going through that.
25 years later, and we're still here.
Wow.
Nothing crashed.
And we're still having bugs.
Yeah.
We're still singing, dancing to Prince.
I really don't know how to start the year, to be fair. Like, I know, I've been around I'm in my 50s, so I've been around for a long time, and you do the New Year's resolution. We've been there, we've done that. Like, maybe we should just cruise through this year slightly different. Maybe we should just approach it with a open arms, open mind. I don't know what you guys think.
See how it goes.
See how we go.
Just see how it goes.
Just hit each day as a surprise, right? Like opening a gift every day. See how we go. Anyway, nice to see you guys. I'll get to you guys in a sec. I do want to say a quick hello to the chatties, and especially the channel members, which is fantastic to have you guys there. The channel member button is, I think, this one. Here we go. Big thank you to all these guys: Inverted Popes, JX3D, Ace of Stripe, which is Dave, Keith and Watford, Steve Ward, Andrew Brooks, Ken Spong, Chris is there, Human Error, Robert Fat Das Hirsch, Macrodos, Exorb, Sophie Music, Kissing the Machine, Dr. Synth, Conrad Gibbons, Luke Snow, Kim Mergadong, I don't know how to say the next one, Ian Nicole, Jezza, Legacy Hand, 47, Neil Wharton, Irrational Social something or other, Chris Baxter, Billy, Bloody, Mars, Kieran, Kier, Nicole, Mauricio, Big something, Nick, Kosh. There we go.
Destructo.
Look at that. Fantastic. You guys being part of the channel. Coco Chanel. There we go.
That deserves a round of applause, Rans.
Yeah, that was a whole routine in itself there.
Yeah.
I completely bodged it up. I should not do the Greyhounds next week. We are going to go around and say good day to everybody, and I think I should probably, out of courtesy, say hello first to Daren. Daren, how's your new year been?
New Year.
See what I did there?
It's been. I did. You did. Yes, my New Year's been okay. I'm struggling with too many ideas and not. I do things and I don't get bored of what I'm doing because I finish it, but I don't finish it to its completeness. And I have too many other ideas that I start cracking on with, which I suppose in a way is a good thing. Me and Chris on the other side of the world there might be going live at some point through the year.
Wow.
So
it's a duo. It's got to be a duo.
It's gonna be
in a way, yes, because I've got some ideas, Chris, that I'll have to speak with you at some point.
Oh, excellent.
Not now, but I'll be needing some more. Let's
material.
say some more material. That's the word.
Contributions, yes.
And just contributions, yes. And we'll have a track out next week as well. And I expect everyone to be singing it. So just remember. Other than that, I'm just busy but not busy, if that makes sense. Lots of stuff on my brain, lots of stuff half written, half doing, and stuff going here, there, and everywhere. Albums, there's that many albums that I can't even finish or do because I've too much on my brain with these ideas, which is great, but I can't actually get myself set down to one specific one. But other than that, yeah, it's been okay. Just another day, I suppose, but it's now 25 instead of 24.
That's it.
So
that's it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Which makes it better because you can put that one behind you and you can start a new one.
And I've actually got some a bit of gas for a few items. I can't afford them yet because I still need a new computer, but I've got a few a bit of gas for some stuff. So we'll have to see.
Yes.
So yes, that's basically my first few days of New Year.
Alrighty, let's keep going. Who's next? Andy. Hey. How are you,
Hey,
mate?
hey.
How's your new year?
Actually, it was all right. Just pretty boring. New Year's not. When you're younger, New Year kind of is fun, or when you're around the drinking age, I guess. New Year is a little more fun at some point, and then after a while, it's like it's just another New Year, and what the hell is going to change? Because of rat's ass. But
just another day on there. That's how I see it.
It is, and the resolution nonsense and all that. So just try to be a better person overall, all the time, not just once
all the time
during the year.
I agree.
Yeah, and don't use Christmas as an excuse to be nice to your family. Just be nice, to your family anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
Bah humbug.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just this time of year is always kind of weird, but
Yeah.
it's been interesting. Looking forward to NAMM coming up, though. I always love the NAMM show.
Cool.
So get ready to check that out. I did get something. I'm not buying much lately because I'm broke, but all the streaming stuff, if you guys haven't noticed, the YouTube app blocks your clock on the phone. So if you're walking around trying to meet somebody somewhere or finish at a certain time, you have no idea what time it is. And you look like an idiot talking to a random, excuse me, what time is it? And you have a smartphone in your hand, right? So, and I have to explain, oh, YouTube doesn't show me the time. They look at you like you're from another planet. So, Amazon, $20, little smartwatch.
Hey.
Hold on. That's not the main face. That's the main face. Well, that's the main face. It does all these apps, right? And it has the health tracking stuff that links to your iPhone health stuff. It has YouTube remote control. So if you're listening to podcasts, you can remote control them here. You can stream the audio to here and also use it for phone calls like Dick Tracy. So for $20, I think there's a lot actually. So the whole bunch of them on Amazon. I just picked this one because it had most of the features I wanted. There's one more fancier one that has a little camera on it. If you also want to take surreptitious pictures while you're around and nobody. This has camera control though, so if you're exactly, yeah. If you are running the camera app on here and you have this synced, you can fire off frames with this while you're doing something else with your camera, so it doesn't look like you're actually taking it with the phone. So it can still be a kind of a creep with your phone if you want to. But not endorsing that, of course, but people do it anyway. So other than that, just the usual old crap. We had a nice kind of wacky 6 oscillator show with Eddie yesterday. It veered away. It started GR55 stuff, went off into like Star Wars and Star Trek and all kinds of stuff. While Goo was there, so he knows all about it. It was fun, but it was very entertaining. So and then later today, Henrik's doing another senior synth stream, 8 p.m. UK time. So more shameless plugs. I'll put the links in the chat. So
in about 3 hours and 45 minutes, I guess that is. So we probably should be quick. Yeah.
It gives me time for a quick nap before the show. So.
Yeah. All right, let's head
We're
over.
Talking about favourite synths, aren't we?
Let's head over to Ian.
Oh, hello. Good day, good evening, good afternoon. Happy New Year, everybody.
How has your New Year been?
It's all right, actually. Our New Year is always quieter because it was just Jane and I, which was quite nice. But I don't do New Year's resolutions, but I have decided, because I've got a family member who's going through a cancer treatment at the moment, that I'm doing a sponsored walk in the month of January. So I have to do 62 miles in the month, which shouldn't be a hardship really, for cancer research. And can I just say, there's people people have already supported me through Facebook and other things, but those people that have already donated, thank you very much. I put a nominal amount of £150. We've already breached that, which is brilliant. I'm not going to up it. I'm just going to let people donate if they want to. That's fantastic, and I know it's hard for people to donate things all the time. I don't normally do sort of many charity things. I just usually do a charity donation each year. But because of family members going through treatment, and I lost my stepfathers to cancer probably 6 years ago, 7 years ago. So it felt like a good thing to do. I've got a T-shirt which I haven't worn, but I will wear at some point. I'll wear it when I go for my walk tomorrow. So that's my equivalent to a New Year's resolution. And actually, what's really annoying is I did a walk on Friday, and I put an app on my phone, and it didn't register. So I've already done more miles than it actually says on the thing. But hey ho. Sinners Music are having a January sale. So if you buy any CD merch, you get buy one, get one free. And if you buy an album, we will send you a CD free of charge. It won't be the same CD that you've bought, but we'll send you a CD. I don't quite know how that will work outside of the UK, but we'll try and do it outside of the UK as well. What else? I've started, because I've got a gig at the end of the month, or first of next month. You can't see, mostly it's out of shot, but I've been wiring lots of stuff up, like the S1 and the modal thing, and all connected to this thing. So I have started to look at why not go for 69 miles. The reason it's 62 miles is that that's what cancer research want me to do. So I'll probably do more of that. And I've got a bone to pick with Wagyu because he's just called me Jelly Master. So I think we need a T-shirt.
And fireworks.
I mean, and for those of you that
he
don't
might think
know,
he's safe in that Switzerland Alps there.
yeah, he's not. He's not.
He's not.
I know people. I know people who know people who
Just
know
a
people.
couple of tunnels, and we're there,
Yeah.
mate. Just a couple of tunnels.
Now, for those of you that
It's amazing
don't
what
know,
stories have
Jelly-
legs, isn't it? So
Yeah, I once told a story on Kent's pub about the fact that I played in a band, and when we signed a contract with the management company, they took us out with a load of girls. Nothing horrible happened. Nobody was there's no sex involved. But these girls were jelly wrestlers, and they kept trying to convince. We were just young lads, we're all in relationships or married. We weren't interested. They were pretty girls, but our management had arranged for these three girls who were jelly wrestlers, and they kept trying to convince us to go to their show. We never did. So that's the backstory to that. But so Jelly Master Wagyu, I'm coming to get you. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Right. Fantastic, Ian. We shall head over the other side of the world and say good day to Chris.
G'day.
How's your
Hello.
new year been, mate?
My year's been not bad. It looks a lot like last year because I'm still in front of the soldering iron, or in front of the soldering iron, soldering up modules. So, looks exactly the same. More of the same, but that's a good thing because I can look back on the year and go, wow, it's been a year, and look what I've done, and that's not bad, So it's good to be able to look back and quantify what you've done rather than just sort of being in the middle of a mad panic all the time sometimes. Yes, so been a pretty good 2024-25 transition. I decided I don't really care about fireworks anymore. I just sit down reading my phone. It's like, yeah, the fireworks are on. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, that's really spectacular. Right, I'll look at my phone. So yeah, I've converted to being excited about next synthesizer choices and modules and stuff like that.
well, it's nice when they have new
fireworks
fireworks.
are
They haven't
over
been new
for me.
fireworks for a long time. They don't make any new ones
Hey,
anymore.
The only one that I was interested in was the Japan one. Did you guys see that? You could see the fireworks over Mount Fuji. It was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, so
So
that one
I
I'd
saw the
probably
one
go
in-
to see.
Yes.
I saw the one in London, and I thought the soundtrack to the one in London was absolutely terrible. And I thought some of the fireworks looked very CGI.
Did they
that's
play
the thing,
recent
isn't it?
music, Ian?
Once they
But
start
the
to
actual
melt
fireworks,
and
like they made a Saturn, they made a
engineer.
smiley face. After that, they haven't done anything really cool. So
Yeah, they're kind of right out of ideas, aren't they? Yes.
Yeah, they need
There's
more
been- there's-
drones.
They're adding, there's drones and they add lasers and stuff like that. It's all kind of cool, but you've been in a club, you've seen lots of lasers.
Lasers.
Frickin' lasers. $1 million. Yes. So, yes. And other impressions from Chris Jeffrey. Yes. I rescheduled packages for pickup because they weren't getting picked up, so that's fixed. Building stock for the shop because I ran out of stock, so I'm building more modules. Doing R&D stuff. The Trexie development is continuing. The audio meter development has proved itself to be practicable, which is good. I did get some resistors the wrong way around and worked that out, swapped them back around, and now it's exactly as described. Welcome to the world of circuit development. Apart from that, I've been feeling a little flat the last couple of days, so my enthusiasm and energy hasn't quite been where I'd like it to be. But sometimes you get that. So I've done a little bit of. I could show you a little bit of the Trexie for a moment, just for giggles and grins. It's doing some stuff at the moment with clock division and a bouncing ball impression. So you could probably hear it just doing it. So yeah, that's just a test batch that I'm proving out, testing out some of the blocks that make up a Trexie patch. And I thought I'd better show something, because otherwise people will think I'm lying about doing this development. No, definitely am. Just the really fun sort of demonstrations, and you know what it's like doing demos. You really need to prepare for them and have it all planned out and everything sorted out. And I keep on finding blocks I need to add, and yeah, it's complicated. Probably more complicated than I'd appreciated originally, but we'll get there. There was something else I was going to mention today. No, it's nothing written down in my notes, so it must have been something I didn't write down in my notes. So back to you, Rance.
I'm back. I might come back here. Yes, fantastic. Well, we've said hello to the chatties. We've said hello to these guys. Don't forget, I've posted a few times the Zoom link. You guys can join us if you want. If you're not too busy, don't put yourself out. You know, it's fine. We should probably get on with a regular show. We haven't had a proper regular show for a couple of shows, so I thought maybe we should probably do one. And we'll start it off, as we always do, with our funny side segment. Where stranger things can happen, that's for sure, especially if you're looking back through your 2024 track ideas and you decide to start mapping it all out on the dining table, and it just
God,
gets
that's me now.
a little bit beyond.
Oh, Daren, yeah, I know what you're going through, Daren. Too many ideas, but they're all good, and it's like you feel like you're kind of drowning. Yes.
Yeah.
It feels like you're drowning there too, me.
Don't feel bad. This guy probably has a bit more on his plate. But anyway, let's keep going.
I want to know where his colleagues have gone. They've all been buried.
I've seen rolling synths you people wouldn't believe. Analog flagship synths like Jupiter's. I watch D-beams glitter on their groove box. All those synths will be lost in time, like the plugins in their cloud.
Ding, 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 ding.
I kind of feel like we need the
soundtrack. we need the soundtrack, but we can't because we get a copyright strike.
Yes, yeah.
You didn't finish with Time to Die, right?
Yeah, wake up, time to die. Yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
Fantastic.
This was sent in by Korg, and I thought, it's the meme. Nobody will remember your salary, how busy you are, how many hours you worked, how many... This is so Japanese. How many cars you owned. It's not. Your people will remember your bleeps and bloops. That sick sequence you made. How fat your sub sound was. How many synths you owned.
Alas,
I don't know, Korg.
Shit, that snare was.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really understand why they're using the grey card. If you guys are into photography, you'll know that one. Anyway, let's keep going. Ugly synth player? No problem. Lose him with our fog machines from £29.95.
I used to own a fog machine.
Yes, that was about as mad as a hatter, that one. I think we got one more. No, I think that was it. Oh, yes, that's it. So we have to vote on the meme of the week, people. We have to vote. Is it the guy on the dining table going through his 2024 tracks ideas? Is it the... what was the other one? I forget.
I'll pick the Roy Batty one. Gotta have the Roy Batty one.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it was the
Guy in the
it
table's
was
the one
the Blade Runner one, and the Korg one, or this one. I mean, yeah, it's probably for me. It's a fight between two of them. But let's see. You guys in chat, you need to let us know which one.
Yeah,
we've already had one pop up already, so let us know. Why don't we?
I like the sentiment of the Blade Runner one, but I think the execution could be improved.
I think the joke was kind of messed at the bottom. The punchline just didn't have enough punch, did it?
Well, I said it needed. It's probably the 20th time they've done it or something.
Needs something.
Dining table's winning it.
Yeah, dining table's winning, isn't it?
Table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, how many times have we pulled the dining
All our
table
brains,
out?
yes.
Eh?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Plus,
Tiny.
if it was a teenage engineering dining table, it wouldn't have been any mess at all.
Ooh.
I was gonna say I'd like to see the guy
Because
who's
you work
piling
cleanly.
teenage engineering table.
That's what they're trying to get at. You work
If
cleanly
it was a
'cause you've got an
teenage
expensive
engineering dining table, there'd be nothing on it because you wouldn't be able to
That's my
afford
point.
anything to put
What's
on
my
there.
point? That's what you work cleanly. It clears your mind of distractions.
Because they have all your money. All the money.
So, I don't have any sense, but maybe I could just polish the table again.
But I've got something that says teenage engineering. Does that count?
Yeah.
A sticker. Do you remember when you were kids and you couldn't afford anything, so you got a sticker, and you thought, I'm part of this community now because I've got a sticker. Anyway, we've got some segments. Let's go. Yes, if you've been living under a rock, you probably haven't noticed this. I think it should have been named something else, and I did mention it on Facebook during the week, because there's like a really well-known synth guy who buys just about every synth known to mankind. You guys will know him as Ty Unwin, and this should have been called
Yes.
Ty Drums.
Yeah, it should have been.
And it would have been the best marketing ploy
That would
ever.
have been fantastic.
He still wouldn't buy it.
You wouldn't buy it. Absolutely not. It's not for
In
him.
protest, he wouldn't.
He's
buy
got other things to do with it.
Buys everything else, but he won't buy this.
No, I suppose you probably want me to cue up the video, don't you? Hey? Jeez, you guys are pushy.
Do you have to?
You're just so pushy. I mean, it's only 49 seconds. It can't be that
I
bad,
know.
surely. All right, let's do this and we'll go bang. I'll probably watch this about 30 times. Pardon me. Wow, there you go. Where were we? We were there. The side drums, SynDrums, I don't know.
Side drum, I think. Right, side drums. I think.
Side drums.
So it's like cyber drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say side drums.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm thinking this is very similar to obviously the sample track and the other thing that came out that was similar to the sample
Lo-Fi
track.
12.
They've given it a paint job and they've put a digital engine in here. I don't know. I kind of do like. I feel like there's been some work into this. I do like the graphics on the screen. I don't know if you guys have seen. There's been quite a few sort of posts up. Maybe we should grab their website and have a look because there's a couple of grabs of their screens, and it looks really kind of cool. The only problem with it is it's tiny, the screen, which is the problem with the sample track, and it was also the problem with Electron, and it was also the problem with Roland. So we all suffer through the tiny screen, I guess. But anyway, that's just an old man problem. What do you guys think? I think it sounds good.
I don't think we need this, if I'm honest. I mean, there's so many other things that you can get these sounds from. I watched. There was another video which is not much longer, but it was sort of demonstrating it, and I thought I was completely underwhelmed by it. I mean, I've got the Ambient O, which I quite like. It's very menu divey, and I'm sure this is too, because that's their form factor. So you know, if you're into that, that's cool.
Yeah, power.
Sorry.
They like power, so they want to
Yeah,
make sure it's all there,
yeah.
even if it's not.
I'll be honest with you. It's I'd rather
Pretty
spend
cool.
my $400 somewhere else if I was gonna. It's definitely not for me. I've got other things that'll get those sort of glitchy sounds, and I have to say I'm a bit overdone with all that sort of sound. If I'm honest, there's so many other things that will do that. Glitchy.
Bit
Sort
crushy,
of.
glitchy stuff.
But yeah, exactly. I mean, granted, I'm
It
not
doesn't
into the
interact well with the
lo-fi
pads,
thing.
though. I mean, you're getting some good expression with the pads, which is interesting.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I was
again,
kind of.
there's other things.
I was kind of wondering about the pads, Andy. Can you tell me? Do you know a little bit about that? Can you
I don't,
actually
but
move
I
them,
don't-
and do they have some sort of X, Y?
Well, it seems like it. I
Doesn't
mean,
it?
a lot of times you see people like pantomiming some kind of expression because they're getting into it,
yeah.
and it's not doing much more than what they think it's doing. But in this case, it looks like they're actually, without watching more than this little clip, I really haven't watched much of the video. It's almost like, did they modify the pads compared to the original to be more expressive? It's not MPE, I'm sure, but it's like better aftertouch or something, because it looks like it's more expressive than the previous model. I never got that much expression out of my thing, but maybe I was just using it wrong. But,
I think you're probably right. I think he was just pantomiming it. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think he was just wiggling it
Yeah.
to make it. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
probably not the best thing to do on a product demo video, because you're not
Yeah, because
really
it's
sort of
confusing,
being
right? These days that actually means something, whereas
You're not
before
being
it's
honest.
just like
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
wiggling out.
Yeah.
But it's created discussion. So maybe
It
that was
has,
their.
yeah. I mean,
maybe that was their
yeah.
goal.
And some hatred, it seems. So
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I saw the video and I thought, oh, for God's sake, what do I, this is the first thing out of the block for 2025. I am so over this type of thing.
bah humbug.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I should
well,
mention this is just a quick one before we go to Daren. I should mention that the opinions of everyone that's on this show doesn't necessarily reflect the Synth Geekery's opinion. And
Absolutely
Ian,
not.
and this is for you.
Yeah.
Stop it. Get some help.
Right, Daren.
I'm putting my box.
I was gonna say I lean sort of more towards Ian is, but maybe not as quite as down as he was when he seen it. But I've not got any SonicWare stuff, and like I say, it doesn't really float my boat neither. It's just not there, but
God, you
it might do. I mean,
miserable bunch, aren't you?
D-
Hey?
it's just something that's not trick. No, I don't mind some menu diving as long as it's easy and it gets you into a groove of menu diving. But since I don't own any SonicWare stuff, I can't really comment too much on it because, like,
You've
you're
got
a
to get
SonicWare
some
owner, I think.
Sonicware, Daren.
Yeah.
It is venue. I mean, the ambient
Take it.
is very menu divey.
Yeah.
Everything's
stuff
got.
is,
Yeah.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So yeah,
I mean, menu diving.
I'd just give it a meh. I won't diss it quite as much as Ian, but I'll just say nah. I'm something I'm not really.
Can I also just say
menu
that if
diving isn't
you're in the
completely
UK
evil. It's just doesn't make sense, right? I don't like the workflow of the sample
Yeah.
track. So menu diving aside, it's just the workflow. It's not my thing.
Just to give you guys an idea of size, right? This is the size, next to my head. This is the size of my sample track, which means that the side drums is going to be the same size as this. And if it has kind of similar features, it will have. I would suggest it would have the battery unit on the back, so you can put batteries in it, which is a good thing, which makes it park bench compatible, Daren.
Oh, I'm not dissing that. I mean, a lot of people are going to like this. I'm just saying it's just if I was to, on my opinion, it's just meh. So that doesn't mean all you SonicWare lovers don't go out there and buy one.
So the problem,
No. If you're in the UK and you buy this from their website, be warned.
Stop it, Kent.
You will get roughly a £60 import duty bill on top of whatever you pay for it. Because that's exactly what happened to me with
You'll
my,
get one. You'll get one in any country that has import tariffs. They do ship from Japan though, so it depends on where you live. For example, Australia has, apart from the $1,000 Australian limit, this thing comes under that, so we're fine with that. Whoops, I didn't mean to touch that. But if it was over $1,000, we may have actually gotten around it with the Japan's trade agreement importing thing that we've got with them. So anyway,
Robbie's just saying that they now sell through Tummen in Germany. So that certainly in the UK, I don't think you've got any import duty coming in from Germany, because I think I've bought.
So there you go. That's
Really?
a good
I
thing.
got
There's
stuff
a way
from
around.
Tummen.
There is a way around
I got a
it.
duty charge once.
Yeah, but you're in the US, mate. So
What, Germany? You guys?
So it depends on what country,
Germany-
what trade agreement your country has. Because don't forget, you had
well, coming up with tariffs all over the place this year from
you had Joe
who.
Biden.
It's going to be wonderful, you know.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it is.
we're going to be paying 20% plus for things.
You had
Everyone's
Puppet
gonna be
Man
out
Joe
for
as
help.
your president for a while there, Andy.
Look, we have shitheads all in a row. I'm not saying the last one was good either. So it's
I mean, it's fallen off bicycles and down the stairs of planes.
because he's almost 90, right?
Correct. Correct. We shouldn't diss the presidents. They do a good job.
Ah,
Not.
right. Biscuit's saying
No, they
that
don't.
Tumman have a UK warehouse. He thinks so. That's probably why we're not getting any import duty.
Guys, we're
There is
talking.
a Toman US website, but I don't think they have a US warehouse. So.
We're talking about this now. I do want to mention
back.
one of the things I thought, and I'll bring this up again. I'm a big fan of the sample track, by the way. I really like this thing. I don't need to buy the SynDrums because I can just load samples on my sample track, and technically I could. But what this thing does that this doesn't is this does synthesis and it does sound design. And so you can manipulate the sounds and actually you can create and save them and patch them and all that sort of stuff. So it's more of a synthesizer, than a groove box in that sense. So it's kind of, I started to think to myself, is this little SonicWare escapade with the sample track and then I forget what the other thing, the Lo-Fi 12?
Lo-Fi 12.
Yeah. And then you've got this
XT.
now. This is really kind of similar to Electron because
Well, I
you've got
thought
the digitone, right? And that's kind of like a synth generative, FME sort of thing. It's similar, but different.
Still digital, but yeah.
You've got the Digitact, which is the sample player and the sample track. I know they're different, but like they're kind of sort of aligning in a sense. So, what would be the next thing? The SynthAddict would be some sort of VA type groove box thing in this format. Not sure, but maybe.
Yeah, the strange
Yeah,
thing
but they
about
don't
this,
have near the level of editing of Digitact, that kind of stuff. So
Oh, for sure. Like they're completely different products. I'm just
yeah,
I'm
they're a
drawing
long
a
way
sort
off
of
the
a
mark. They look like
I'm
if they
drawing
use
a
a similar
very-
screen. And,
very
yeah.
short bow there, to compare the two. Yeah, continue, Chris, because you were saying something.
the strange thing about this release was the way it was sort of seemed to be aimed at the what I call the beat makers. So we're not talking when they make beats. Like I'm a drum person, but when I think about drums, that excludes things like bass lines and honky sounds, and I've got a very old school attitude when it comes to drums and drum synthesis. So that's what I mean when I like that aspect of it. I don't necessarily get super into the other area of it, whereas the younger generation seem to be much more interested in the sort of holistic rhythm and melody all blended in together in a sort of sound design / music / mishmash of complexity, I would call it. But that seems to be the market this is aimed at, and I thought it was when that was the way the advertising was sort of directed, and we still are yet to see some. I mean, I'm looking forward to Chris Lodi's walkthrough video,
G'day, Chris.
because it will explain everything and give you a much better sense of what's possible and between the margins
shout out
of
to Chris too,
extremes.
because he watches the show.
Yeah, so he's always going to be good at giving the whole audience something to look at, something to that they would find engaging. So he seems to be good at that. So I'm looking forward to what he's going to do. But yeah, this one just is something a little bit cynical about the way it's marketed, which kind of put me off.
Okay.
But it is
Should be
a
the Cynic drums then, maybe. Not the side drums, the Cynic drums.
so it's interesting because we had the
Seriously.
the Scrooge last year, which has a very similar kind of glitch music type
The
aimed
Scrooge.
approach, but it's
They sold lots of those at Christmas.
but it's entirely analog, and for some reason I find that more engaging. It's twice the price of this as a kit,
Yeah.
and still this doesn't float my boat. in the
Fair
same
enough.
way. So I don't really know why. I'm not saying poo-poo to all digital drum synthesis, because there's been some great drum synthesis that's been done digitally. There's a heck of a lot of modules out there for modular which do some excellent drum synthesis, and they're completely digital.
Well, I'm
And
going against all of
it's
you
reliable.
guys. I like this. I actually like it. I think the sounds in that little 49-second video only just a tip of the iceberg. I think this thing can do a lot more. It's not just glitchy. Which I really sort of... It's not bit crushy glitchy all the way through. It's there's, you know, if you actually go to their website and check it out, there's actually quite a lot of depth to this. And you guys talked about it being menu diving. I actually think it's fantastic that it's menu diving. It means that they've actually put a lot of parameters and features into this for us to go and explore. And I don't have a problem with that, especially if you want to go and set some sounds up. Like I said, my only criticism, and it's not actually against this particular product, it's against their whole range that has this form factor, is just the size of that screen. But I seem to be okay because I've got the sample track. I get around it by, I feel like when I use it, I kind of use it like that. You know, I'll just go my full screen so you guys can see. I kind of use it like that. And I feel like when I'm using it like in front of me, almost like a mobile phone, it doesn't have a problem. But if I put it down on a desk away from me, that's when the screen becomes an issue. And I feel like that's the only negative, and it's not a massive negative when you think about it. So don't be surprised if you see one of these side drums here. Definitely on the list.
So I wasn't just knocking the because of the menu diving, because I have plenty of things that are menu diving that are amazing. It's the quality of the menu diving. What's the experience like as you dive? And I just didn't think
the UI
they've
development.
changed the software a lot. The very first rev of Sample Track was awful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they suddenly started doing updates, and I was like, okay, this is a lot more usable now. And they put more shortcuts in and some other stuff that I liked. I still didn't gravitate toward that much compared to other stuff I have, but the menu diving in itself is not evil, because I have plenty of things that do it. It's the experience of do it, and because there's a lot of things that have like really deep menus, and you're like, oh, what else can I do? And this is fun. But it's just kind of a cold experience. It wasn't a fun experience menu diving on the sample track. So
Utilitarian.
yeah.
Yeah, very.
Yeah,
sort
if you
of by
think,
the
oh
numbers
god,
type.
I've got a menu dive to get into something, then that's not good. But if you think, oh yeah, I want to dive further into this, then that works.
Yeah.
That's how it, that's
Exactly. Yeah.
I am
There's a lot of
struggling
things
a
to do that.
bit. I am struggling
can
a bit
get
with
there
the
without
menu
thinking.
diving on the ambient O, because
Ambient
I
zero,
I can't keep remembering all the sequences.
Yeah,
I'll get there with
yeah.
it.
That I don't think they put quite enough legending on their front panels, to be honest. I need a couple
I'm looking at
more.
I'm looking at the front panel and thinking, how do I do this? I know that Kent's got rid of his, I think, he was going to get rid of it because he wasn't keen on it either. But I mean, let's face it, menu diving is not for everybody. It's you know, don't take my
but
word
if it
for
makes
it.
you
People,
want
if you
to dive
fancy
into it,
buy
that's the more thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
if it invites
exactly.
you in. Yeah,
I like the idea of this
taking the
wave
red pill,
table
the blue pill.
with velocity and pressure modulation. They're calling it 4D, right? I like the idea of this. I like the idea that you can manipulate the reaction to that, and you've got these structures that they're talking about. I think, you know, there's definitely some areas where it could be better. But if you actually just go and give this a bit of a look through when you can, I think there's
See, that's what he was doing. Pressure modulation. It was actually doing something when he was pushing on the pads.
Yeah.
That was clear. I thought.
Yeah.
But I
And
just
that's
think,
cool, right?
I think this is deep. You know, this
But
has got a bit of DX7 about it. This has also got a bit of.
That's why Robbie likes it.
Yeah, no.
Waggle's just asking what else does.
DX7?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer to this question. Waggle's asking, what else does wavetable rhythmic stuff?
Wave station.
DX for
No, as in like a
systems
drum,
plugin.
as in like a drum
Yeah,
machine.
but
I
like
think
a-
you mean
I mean,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's rhythms, yeah.
Off the top of my head, the Ableton push standalone does, and I don't know if the what's the other one called? The Move. I don't know if that does, but the
Move.
Ableton Push does.
I don't think they've got the waves. I don't think they've got the wavetable on the Move, have they?
Don't think so, but the Push does, and I believe, and Andy, you could probably tell us if this is true or not. But I also believe the Machine standalone does.
Yeah, Machina Plus kind of can fake it, at least if it's not directly called that. You can definitely, and even the way Teenage Engineering manipulates their samples and jumps around in a wave file, that's another version of it, right?
SynthDrums by Deluge, I think, does some of this stuff as well.
So OPZ, OP1, they can do that kind of stuff too. So.
Yeah. So it's not completely unique, but I feel like the arrangement of what this is about is probably unique. I actually do think this is going to be a winner for them, because when you think
Might
about
be a
it,
slow burn. Yeah.
one of the problems I get frustrated with sample players, right, or samplers, if you want to call it that, is we'll talk about this in the Saturday Sonority segment later. Is you kind of feel like there's not enough sound design to sort of layer on top of your sample. Like if you think about what the Fairlight used to deliver back in the 80s, I mean, it was the epitome of that, right? It gave you some really, really cool features, but a lot of products still don't even have what a Fairlight had. And then from there, you've got, you start looking at samples, and then you start traveling down Granular, or you start traveling down Wavetable. It's kind of, we're starting to sort of just see the same stuff regurgitated a million times in a different way. And I feel maybe that's what you guys have fallen into. You've probably just thought, this is another bit crushy, FME sounding thing. We've seen it a million times. Do we really
That's
need
exactly
it?
what I said. Yeah.
But I don't think this is that. I think it's definitely got it if you want to do that, but I think it's more than that. I think it's got that that wave folding, which, I mean, FMs should do that anyway, because that's what makes it sound cool. But then you've got the wavetable stuff. You've got this structured stuff that they're talking about. Have a look at their website anyway. I was just showing you a bit of it then. There's some interesting little bits and pieces in there. So, yes. All right, we should move on. Next is this weird looking thing, which is the dual Undula oscillator. And this is by a company called Larix Elektro. This is a module for Eurorack, by the way. Now, this is probably like a render drawing of it, because I actually think it looks better to show this. In a way, this thing can be kind of used for like an oscillator. Obviously, it's an oscillator, but I believe you can also use it as a filter. And it's kind of like it's a complex oscillator. Like, let me just do something here. Text wrap. Where's my wrapping? So the internal functionalities allow sort of like filters, an MS processor. You've got two sinus waves that can also work as filters. You've got two wave folders. You've got two bipolar VCAs that act as low res ring modulators, and then both VCAs can be used inside a mid side converter. And then on top of that, you've got an LFO to modulate stuff, and you've got an attack decay envelope. So in a way, it's like an all-in-one synth voice. Anyway, let's have a listen, because I do have a little video lined up for you guys.
It's kind of like the Zero Coast a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. It does have
it's definitely Buchla territory.
It does have a bit of Buchla about it. So that was a very, very short video. I don't actually know if there's any other demos out there yet on this anyway. Just to give you a couple of bits and pieces about it, it is €450 to get this thing. And there's a few options on the back which I was interested in, Chris. Apparently there's access points to modify the routing or to add more I/O on the back of this thing. Yeah, I'm not really sure what they mean by that. The thing that I do like about it though is when they've developed this product, they've put all the capacitors as through holes so you can modify them. Okay. So what they can't, in a way, they want you to hack this, if that makes sense. And
hack the planet.
Hell yeah, you know, like change the capacitors, or you know.
I like the stereo aspect at the mid-side processor aspect. It's very nice. Quite like that in modules.
Not sure if it's for me personally. I kind of feel like you can achieve this similar sort of sound with a lot of other products that are out there. What I want to see from these guys, because this has only just recently been brought out, you know, October or something when they first announced this thing. I'd like to see them show what makes this unique. So, and I've got a feeling that they're trying to say it's the marriage of the three functions. So the marriage of the oscillator, the filter, and the dual MS processor on it. But show that so that we can see what does that mean to a layman's person who are, you know, is interested in making music from this. What does that, you know, what does that deliver them? Because otherwise it's just words and people just eyes just glaze over, right?
This is the constant battle with trying to be a communicator of sound generation devices. I can tell you now, is trying to communicate it to musicians and technical people alike. It's quite a difficult balance.
We as musicians in synthesizers, we have to have a pretty decent technical knowledge, and we have to have a bit of the appreciation that we have to be open-minded about understanding stuff. And sometimes we're going to come across products that are going to challenge us technically. They're going to really, like, you know, I remember the first time I saw a DX7 that challenged me technically, because when I wanted to go further than just play the patches, I was thinking, okay, well, how can I manipulate this thing? First, I found the data slider, and then I found out geez, that was making that thing sound weird. So all I'm saying is that, you know, it's good to put words, it's good to show stuff. I feel like the way that they've designed the module actually is a really nice layout. So if you guys can imagine this, where you're getting your hands on the larger knobs, your fingers aren't getting in the way of the smaller knobs.
Yeah, they're giving space for the larger knobs.
I actually think it's quite a good design. And it's kind of like they want you to fold. They want you to, you know, fine tune it, coarse tune it. They want you to do all that sort of stuff. They want you to make this oscillator go crazy, and then cross mod it with the other oscillator or whatever, right? That's what they want you to do. The patching down the bottom is actually really clever, I thought too. It kind of, I like the lay of the land. So you've got your in
puts your
and
cables
your
out
out.
the way a bit, doesn't it?
It's a mirror reflection, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a mirror. Yeah, I like that.
And I actually think that they thought about this quite well. Like it's almost got a bit of an IntelliGel sort of feel to the design.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The bottom half.
Yep.
Does. Top half, not so much.
Top half a little bit more of a Buchla sort of look.
Or ASM.
Make noise look.
ALM, sorry.
ALM, yeah. Could be, yeah. Bit of all the things. Anyway, I was actually quite interested in this. So if I could see a bit more, you know, let's see it. Put it in the hands of Ben or Alex, or, you know, one of those guys, and let's see what happens with this. Any thoughts from you guys? You know, it's a pretty basic sort of video. Not much to sort of go by, is it?
No. It's stereo.
Yeah.
And it does. That was what I picked up from it. Oh, it's nice, and it's stereo, and it's kind of blippy, and okay, what else does it do? Oh, the video ended.
put it this way, right now, a lot of you guys who are watching this show will be thinking, there's so many products out there that can do this. There's so many dual oscillator, wave folding, sine wavy, FME things that are out there. So what makes
All
this
competing
unique?
for your dollar.
Yep. What makes this
Same
unique?
price.
All right. Great from Larix Elektro.
Good start. Yeah.
Where were they based? I wanted to find that out actually. About they sell in euros. Here we go.
Lithuania.
They're in France.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. That might explain the communication reluctance. Shall we say? Like, if I have to explain it, I really can't.
Yeah. I am not going to tell you this. You need to go away. You do not deserve my product. No, we're just kidding. All right, next. This Stylophone. Gosh, they're pumping out some stuff, these guys.
Stylosette keys.
Oh my god. All right, so
It's a module. It's not a module. It looks like
it's
it's not
actually
a module, is it?
Let's have a look at the video. It's a physical thing,
sorry.
right? It's a physical thing.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
It's one of those vertical videos, so I do apologize, and we're probably going to have to struggle with some of these going ahead in the future, but here we go. It's amazing.
Sounds like my Stylophone. Surprise, surprise.
It is a Stylophone.
Yeah.
Okay. It's exactly a Stylophone. It's just in a different format. It does have a couple of little tricks. It's got the delay. Here we go. And you can muck around with it with time and repeats and things up the top. That's it. So there was some really weird. God, those video recommends are weird. The weird thing about it is there's a tuning screw on this, which is they give you a tiny little screwdriver. They give you that ships with this thing.
Yeah, there was on the original. I had the tuning thing underneath.
Yeah.
So that's why they kept it, I think.
So this is exactly a Stylophone. It's just in a different form factor, and it's supposed to look like a cassette. It has nothing about a cassette about it other than the fact that it's looking like one with the graphics. That's it.
It's the size of it.
It's not any sort of like a sample.
Geometric coincidence.
Yeah.
It's all it is.
But
it says $2.99. I'm with him on that.
Well,
How much
that's
is
an
it?
example of excellent communication to musicians, though.
it's $39.95.
Made it
Cheap as
it was
hell.
absolutely clear, that one. Clearly communicated is all I was saying.
Yep.
They've almost missed a boat because it'd be perfect for a Christmas present.
I think it did
Should have
come
been in
out.
the shops back in November, shouldn't it?
I think it did come
It'd
out.
be nice if we could add one
the day
different
before
waveform,
Christmas.
just one variation would be nice.
So
I
it
know,
did come out.
Yeah, day before Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a square wave, isn't it? I'm trying to work it out. It's
Sounds
a square wave.
squarey.
Just to have some variation, because that could very
Yeah.
grating in a short period of time.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So for $40 US, that could be yours, or under $40 US, I should say. Yes. Should keep an eye on the chatties.
Some
what they're
actual
saying.
cassettes go for more than that on eBay, by the way.
Yeah.
Blank
I know.
cassettes.
Yeah,
So if
exactly,
David
yeah.
Bowie were live,
Yeah.
would he use this? Right?
Maybe.
Mate.
Can we just move on? Because I think it's
Yeah.
Please,
Yeah.
please,
Yeah.
sir. Can we just move on?
next is
Sorry.
this thing
Ooh, yeah.
by SetonixSynth SetonixSynth. This is called the SkyWave. Now, this is really interesting. It's got me, like, I'm thinking, what? When I first watched this video, I'm like, what? You're doing what with the sequencer? Okay, so let me see if I can explain this to you. This is a analog oscillator that the sounds and harmonics of this thing are manipulated by a sequencer that feeds back into it. And this is kind of cool because it gives you, in a way, a new form of synthesis.
It
That's
changes
kind
per
of-
wave cycle.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're going
So
with
that's
this.
really, after every cycle, it moves to the next row down.
Let's have a look at the vid. Oops.
Optionally.
He probably explains it better than me. That wouldn't be hard.
Brian from Robots Are Red here for SetonixSynth to show you the SkyWave. SkyWave is a 14 HP segmented VCO, and it is a harmonic machine. It routes up to 4 oscillators through a sequential switch of up to 4 steps. The switch triggers each waveform running through each oscillator in sequence. We have level control over each step, and we have waveform control over each step. From triangle to ramp to pulse, and we have pulse width control over the pulse. You'll notice adjusting even just a little bit from that triangle wave gives us some nice harmonics from the shifting and jumping of the waveform. So we could change each shape and each level in positive and negative directions. We could go to 3 steps and we'll get a 5th harmonic in there. Or we could go to 2 steps and go an octave up. Or rather, lose our sub. You have an Stylophone mode, dead volt per octave in, frequency mod or phase mod input, oscillator sync, pulse width modulation, CV over all the waveforms, CV over all the levels, you could run.
Just one thing before we finish watching the video. Don't forget that little oscilloscope in the top right-hand corner is actually showing the actual waveforms that this thing's generating. And I hope the eagle eyes of you guys watching this are thinking to yourself, look at some of those shapes. They are friggin' cool. So we'll get to talk about what can also do this that's out there in a sec, but okay, keep going.
Run an external clock into the clock sequencer. And there is a sequence reset. Let's check out that FM input real quick. And then let's sync it to this oscillator. So, lots of crazy waveforms, especially with all the CV inputs.
There we go. So yeah, let's hear what you guys think first. Is it a new way of synthesis, or is it just very clever way of mixing waveforms together?
It's I'd say it is a implementation of a patch you could make yourself if you had a sequential switch. You'd probably need something extra logic to be able to get it to switch exactly at the split second where a waveform resets. So it's kind of unique because that would be a bit tricky to do in a patch.
That's
but
what I'm
you could
thinking.
Probably. So I think it's a classic case of someone trying to achieve something with a patch and went, "Oh, I'm going to need to make a module to do this because I can't quite get what I want," and then realizing that it was actually quite unique, and went further with it. It reminds me of what people have done with some of the early step sequences, running them into audio rates.
Yeah. Yep. With a 2500.
Kind of a bit like that, but yeah, except you can accompany with that with a sequential switch, and then you're switching audio signals. It gets a bit more complicated, complex. So yeah, no, I think it's something new.
It reminded
Whether
me a
it's
little
something
bit when I was mucking around with a 960, and I was putting that in audio rate, and I did that 960 advanced video, and I probably didn't film this bit, but I had the 2500 modules, and I was mixing the waveforms together to get weird sort of negative and positive or inverted waveforms to sort of create weird in phase, out of phase type situations, and then running the sequencer at audio rate through it. You're not going to get the same sound as this thing, but it was kind of similar territory.
Yeah. This because this one has different speeds at which it can switch through the different cycles, it does get you into territories that you are familiar with, but at the highest rate in particular, the single cycle waveform, that is genuinely unique. So it makes sense that they would lead with that. Whether it's sonically unique is up for debate, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I don't think you're going to be getting those beautiful, clean, sort of traditional analog waveforms out of it. But
well, that's kind of good because, I mean, it's kind of, that was one of the sort of disappointing aspects of it when I was, listening to the video the first time, was like, oh, they're just normal, boring old waveforms that are being, used as the source for their sounds. Little sort of disappointed, but no, when you take it, that's the point. They're using basic building blocks and creating a complex result, which is definitely a technique which is not to be sneezed at.
I like the fact that it wasn't just a sine wave going into this, so 4 sine wave oscillators, and to me that is where it sort of explored a different territory, because you would get a very sort of DX7 sound out of it if it was just sine waves, because they're just kind of really quickly going through. One thing I would be interested in, though, is a little bit more manipulation of each of the separate oscillators being able to do things, because they're there. So why can't we patch more of them into other things?
Yes.
So that was the only thing I didn't see in it.
Yes, it's kind of you're kind of crying out for some individual outs, if you wish
individual outs,
to use
and
them.
also some cross-moddy stuff.
Yes, it's based on a linear switcher, not a linear mixer.
Yep.
So I probably couldn't do that. That's a different sort of.
But individual outs would achieve it, and then you'd have another module that you could
you just have a
manipulate it with.
separate mixer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fading mixer.
Cool. Now, price-wise, just quickly let you guys know the price of this one. It is €299.
Okay.
So it's
it's quite up there.
It's not a bad price. I mean, it has some great sounds in it, to be honest. I mean, a lot of potential.
I'm feeling, for me, that this could be really good through a low-pass gate.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, but if you guys have explored the territory of low-pass gates, but there's one that Erica Synths make, which is insane as a low-pass gate. I'll have to show it to you guys one day on the show. I really want to order it. Basically, it's the most controllable low-pass gate you could probably find out there in modular land, and it gives you the ability to do the percussive low-pass gate standard sort of delivered stuff, but then you've got resonance controls, you've got width and length. So this thing I reckon would really suit that little Erica Synths module. By the way, if you're looking for it quickly while you're listening to me. It's on their black line. So if you're looking at the Synths website, it's in their black line of modules. The low pass gate. It's not called low pass gate. It's called something else. I just can't think of the name off the top of my head. Someone will know though. But yeah.
Just because it's
percussive.
a synth voice doesn't mean it doesn't need more stuff. It's going to need more stuff around it, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not an island. But what it does by itself is pretty cool, actually. I mean, the visually and the waveforms as well as the audio part.
Well, it sounded good on its own. I mean,
But it's also, remember, it's not. I mean, some people complain about the musicality. It's a tech demo. It's not a music demo. So it's not supposed to sound like a finished track. If you gave this to Alessandro Cortini, it would sound fucking awesome.
Well, that's the thing, Andy. If he had envelope generators, if he had filters, and effects, then this thing's going into territories where you would normally put it.
Exactly.
But he's just showing what this can do on its own, and then it's
a demo, a tech demo.
You're supposed to be inspired by that sound, and what is that going to do to a filter? What is that going to do if I put an EG on it? What is that going to do if I modulate that with a different type of modular modulation source? Like, for example, step triangle modulation.
Yeah.
As an LFO would be really interesting.
Yeah, it's a teaser of what you can do, but you can obviously go off the rails and come up with your own crazy ass way of doing stuff on this thing. So, because I have sequential switches that I've used for a few times on some stuff, and they're cool, but I haven't done anything like this. This is pretty interesting. So,
yeah,
the whole point. This is going back to the grassroots of why I got into Eurorack. The whole point of Eurorack, in my mind, was it's kind of like the bleeding edge. It's like if you're in computer land, it's like that's why you put Linux as an operating system on your computer. It's the bleeding edge, or it's that sort of that real grassroots development. Control. You've got so much control. You've got so much, to the point where it could be too hard for some people, right? But to the other point where you're just, pulling modules out, putting modules in. This is what I do every day. I'm pulling out stuff, putting in stuff, and I love that about it because, it's that tactile approach, but at the same time, it's also that uniqueness. You don't.
Yeah, we had this French guy at one of my workplaces. He refused to use Windows and Mac. He had to run Linux on his PC laptop. He just refused to run Windows.
Yeah.
And he support. I mean, I support him to a certain extent because certain the apps we had to be tweaked a certain way. But he wanted to support himself. He was happy with that. So,
Chris, you're a module developer, and I don't have the ability to do half the shit that comes through my head. I would love someone to put the Korg oscillators that are in the Poly 800 into a module. Yeah. But then give us, like what IntelliGel did with the Atlantics, right? Then nerd it out so that we've got so much friggin' control over this. Because I don't know if you guys know about that oscillator, but it creates sawtooth waves by stacking harmonic square waves at different levels. And this kind of, in a way, I've talked about this so many times on the show, but this kind of, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, maybe that's this because he steps through the oscillators. But no, it's not. It's different again. And in that, you don't really get a massive amount of control on the steps system on this either. No. So you get 2, 3, and 4 steps. You get a bit of speed control. But yeah, which is what you'd expect. Like, it's a basic sequencer. But yeah, that's the thing. I'd love to see sort of that stuff be mapped out so that we've got more granular control over these products. Yeah. Anyway, that's the SkyWave. Definitely got my ears pricked up, this thing. And what about you guys?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Nice looking
module
nice
too. Yeah, it certainly gets your attention. You're like, ooh. It does have that Synths Black feel about it too, because they use similar knobs. And the
Yeah, in a way.
gold.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah. Doesn't look out of place, put it that way. Bit of everything, actually. I could think of 4 or 5 different manufacturers they've borrowed a few visual design cues from.
All right. What's next? Speaking of Erica Synths. It wasn't planned at all. This is probably, like you said, Chris, this is probably more a leak than a release.
Yeah.
Only because there's only one video out that I could find on the web, and it was taken 3 months ago by, I forget the guy's name, his YouTube channel. You guys would know him, New Tricks, the synth guy. I think he's from Canada. I think he's from Canada. Yeah. And he's got quite a big channel. He's pretty cool. He's really into the synths like we all are, so he's a cool guy. Anyway, he went to some sort of knob session in, I don't know if it's in Canada or the US, wherever it is.
Knob session.
Right? Yeah, great name. And Erica Synths were there, and they were showing this. I can't really play the video because I haven't got an answer back from him, but I can show you guys.
Show a still frame from it.
I can show you still frames. There's the Erica Synths guy. There's the New Tricks guy talking to him, and there's the Perkons voice. Right now, in this video, this is the only audio demo of it here. Right, so he does go through and does an audio demo of it here.
Okay, cool.
Which I won't play. Well, maybe I can do a quick. I can do that, right? Yeah. So what I do want to tell you guys about it though is it's the synth voice from the Perkons drum machine. Do you guys remember the Perkons drum machine? If you don't, I can show you pictures of it. Yeah. Let me just grab that up.
Probably a good idea. I forget how many voices it has, for example.
Funny story at Synthplex a couple years ago. I was walking around doing a video, and he was doing a demo for somebody with the unreleased Perkons in the little synth bus outside. And I just happened to walk by while he was playing it, and he goes, "You're not going to upload that, are you? Because this isn't released yet." I'm just shooting random video. I didn't even know what you had there. So
this is the Perkons.
Synthesizers? That's what I thought. Yes.
If you guys remember this thing, it's been out for a while, but it's one of these voices. Okay, so it is a percussive sort of synth. But from memory, what I could work out from the video is that we go back to here, is that you get to, so it's one voice, but you get to change the algorithm, so you get access to any of the voice. The algorithms of that voice, and you can also save patches in it, so it's giving you all that access, plus you've got the manipulation of those controls, and also you've got the CV connectivity down the bottom. So I definitely feel this was a cool idea. I know there's people that really rate the Perkins drum machine, so don't know how much this thing's going to be, and but if you look at sort of Erica Synth's module stuff, it's it's probably going to be around the €300, 200 to €300, maybe €400. It'll be around there, right? So don't be too.
They do take quite a while to release stuff because they, so this isn't unusual for them to be sitting on something like this, just letting it gestate, see if it's right. Because they definitely have to feel something special about it before they release it.
Well, put it this way:
kind of
the Erica Synths Resonant FB, which was probably one of my favorite modules released last year, is only €320. So I would say this, just as a gut feel, I would say this would be under that. That would be my guess. It might be €300, it might be 280, 270. But if we look at their website, here's a bit of a snapshot of what they charge for different modules, right? So stereo reverbs and stuff.
The Mutant modules are quite reasonable. Drum voices.
Yeah. Mutant Brain. Yeah. Bass drum. There's so many cool things that these guys do, right? Anyway, there is the LPG that I was talking about.
Yeah.
That is an insane low pass gate.
Yeah, that is a lot for a low pass gate. That's a lot of controls.
There are
cool.
some low pass gates that give you resonance controls, but not many. Most low pass gates just completely don't even go there.
Interesting.
The thing that I love about this is it does have a drive and it also has an offset. So most low pass gates may give you access to decay, which is probably what you want. Some don't even give you that. They might just give you a switch from VCA to VCF or both, which is kind of normal. But this marriage with the resonance and the offset and the drive and access to those kind of other features like decay and stuff just makes this thing like a really, really cool product. And the price of it for a low pass gate is pretty high, €170. When you consider you can get a low pass gate probably for half of that.
Get dual ones for
Yeah.
same price.
But if you guys are getting into percussions in your Eurorack,
Yeah.
and you don't have a low pass gate, you're going to need one because it's going to be your little friend. The Tip Top Audio do a really good Buchla one where it's 4 low pass gates in one module. A little bit pricey, but 4 Vactral based low pass gates is very, very handy in one module. And you've got manipulative controls over each. It looks kind of similar to the 2500 stuff as well.
Okay.
Anyway, that, by the way, we went off track, but that's the Perkons voice. We don't know if it's been released yet. We don't have a price. Yeah.
It's one to watch. Definitely.
One other thing I want to mention about this is it has a multi-mode filter and an overdrive, and there's a drone mode on this.
Okay.
So it's a drum voice, but because it's got a drone mode, it means that you may want to use this for not a
As an
drum
oscillator.
voice. Yeah. Which I thought was pretty interesting. Presets, 99 user presets, 31 sound design algorithms, all that sort of stuff that you'd expect. It is digital too, if you hadn't worked that out.
Yeah.
So
So this is
I
kind
think
of what I was
that's-
talking about, wasn't I? Before about when we were talking about the SonicWare related stuff. There are
things
some
out there.
very impressive
Yeah.
things that use digital drum voices.
Yeah.
Desirable for different reasons. Here's
But
another
not-
example.
Yeah, but not in some cases not as accessible, and in other cases too much accessible. So, you've got to kind of work out who am I and what do I want. Do I want to perform, or do I want a sound design, or do I want both? Do I want portability? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking
You
at
have
that.
a lot of options.
I'm looking at that SonicWare thing as portability. Very, very compact.
There is something to say about any kind of drum synthesis where all of the drums are available to you at once, because you get interactions between the drums that occur, and that's part of the magic. So having a single drum voice, other than something, if you're doing a lot of techno or something, the kick is really, really important.
And
So that's
compressing.
one that you would,
And
yeah,
compressors.
but that's
Yeah.
sidechain compression, yes. But that would be one where it's kind of like a no-brainer that has to be something you concentrate very much on. But for everything else, there's a lot to be said for having it come from one source together in one pattern.
Yeah.
So
We were talking about
It's
that.
funny.
It's a thing.
That Roland thing, was it last show or a couple of shows ago, where it was some sort of I can't remember what you said it was, Chris. It was some sort of I know what it was. It was that weird bandpass filter that Roland used in some of their drum machines. That guy put in a module that he turned it into a low pass filter and made that module crazy.
yeah, the bandpass filter
The twin
slash
the
twin T
Ts.
bandpass, the twin T circuit, which is what about it?
So this is where I'm kind of getting at, right? So when you start thinking about all these kind of things that people have done in products, and you don't even know that they've done them because you're not an engineer, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You get a
Kind of
module
under-hood
in
stuff.
Eurorack now, that can do that, and all of a sudden now you can patch a sound through a twin T module, and then you've got, magically you've probably got that Roland sound if you know what you're doing. And you were saying before about how when you layer drum sounds together, right? We've had this discussion before. I think there's a magic in that, in your ears. Like you listen to things.
Not just the layering, the actual interaction.
Rhythmically. Yeah. How they sort of feed off each other harmonically and rhythmically. Yeah, it's kind of, it's a magic, isn't it, in that? And sometimes they're happy accidents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Happy accidents are
Also,
quite
speaking of
often happen in
drums,
rooms.
people often slag off Volcas, but the Volca kick is a very nice kick based on MS-20 filter. And the Volca drum is a physically modeled drum, which is off the rails crazy.
Yeah,
So,
I got rid of my Volca kick.
Did you try the Volca drum though? Volca drum is really cool.
No, because it was kind of at that stage where I got sick of Volcas. And
But you're missing out though. It's good if you like percussion and weird tweaks and physical modeling. It's very cool.
yeah, maybe.
And it's cheap, so way cheaper than a module.
True. Whether I buy these modules or not is neither here nor there. One thing I'll mention too. So we're finished now for the news, okay, guys. So one thing I'll mention is, you might remember last week we talked about all the news articles that we went through during 2024, and there was an incredible amount of items that we went through. All of us sat here, like you guys went through it as well. I know I put it together, but you guys had to discuss it, and in a lot of cases, you guys had to discuss it without even knowing what the hell you've just been shown. So, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we'd forgotten.
There's one thing that I find a little bit disappointing, and that is if we go to the effort to give someone an award at the end of the year to congratulate them that the community here, the Synth Geekery community, thought that, I'm not going to name who it was. You guys know who won, right? There was the best synth, there was the best Eurorack module, there was the best sampler/sequencer. Not one of those companies clicked like, said thanks, said anything. Not one. And in my opinion, that is bad form. You guys
I hate to say it, but maybe I just didn't see it.
It's just
Maybe
rude.
they didn't watch the episode.
Mate, it was plastered all over social media. I posted it on Reddit. I posted it on Facebook.
He did post it on
Twitter,
Facebook and Instagram.
They were tagged.
Doesn't mean they watched it though. I mean,
They
devil's
were tagged.
advocate doesn't mean they actually.
Doesn't mean they watched it, but they were tagged. They were tagged in these things, mate.
Yeah, that's the
And
thing.
I think it's bad form that these companies don't even, acknowledge that someone's.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah. I mean, we're the end users. They're the people that buy their products, and they're just, I just think it's bad form. And I kind of got a little bit butthurt. You could probably tell, but I'm over it now. But at one stage I was actually thinking, why don't we do it?
No, it's a rant.
I ran.
And rightly so.
Is this one? Oh, it's this one.
Yay!
Yes. No, I'm not going to go to me. Anyway, I kind of thought, why should we bother doing the news segment? Actually, that's a good question. I know what my answer's going to be, but you guys in chat, should I bother doing that news segment every week?
Well, you're not doing the news segment to butter up the makers. You're doing it to make people aware of stuff.
Correct. Yeah. We don't get any commercial kickbacks. I mean, I get the odd module sent to me by here and there, but we don't get any commercial kickback on this show. No one sponsors us. No one, gives us anything. It's free to say thanks. Is kind of all I'm saying.
It's absolutely free to say thanks. Yeah.
You know what the sad thing is though? They probably see the subscriber count and they're very, pissy about that. And they go, well, it doesn't have enough subscribers. Why should we even click like?
Yeah.
Right. regardless of content, regardless of the positive message, sometimes they're assholes about that stuff. You know?
Yeah, I
Well,
suspect there's a
Well, they
little
should.
bit of
Ranzee's right.
yeah.
They shouldn't be. They should. They really, genuinely
Shouldn't be, but
You know, like you say. You know.
Let me
It's
tell you one
worth
thing.
gonna do,
Let me
so.
tell you a point about
Pointing
subscriber count, right? And we'll put this baby to bed. You guys been watching Discord over the last week. My subscriber count has been hit by the bot engine in the last week from YouTube, and I've got no control over who subscribes to me. And if they're bots,
Right.
or if they're rogue or old YouTube accounts or whatever, and they're doing a cleanup, you know, I lose subscribers. But one thing I don't lose is I don't lose new subscribers. I might lose the odd old one, and that's normal, right? People get upset and they leave or whatever. They get bored of it. But I'm still getting a steady increase of new subscribers, and those people are real. I get emails from people. I get email notifications if someone subscribed. Usually YouTube tell you if someone over 1,000 subscribers has subscribed to you. If you look at ProSynth Network, they've only got maybe 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
If they said something about a synth, they'd get congratulated or thanked.
Yes.
So it has nothing to do with subscriber count. It's not. I'm not saying anything about ProSynth Network either. All I'm saying is that I just think it's bad form when people just don't go to the effort to say something, and I'm just putting that one out there. You know, maybe I might actually, maybe I might not bother. You know, involving those companies next time. Last year, the year before, sorry, I should say 2023, we did the same thing, and 3 out of the 4 got thank yous from. We got thank yous from them.
Yeah, I'm with you as well, because when we do the Edinburgh Fringe thing, when we post it all over social media, when we do a review, and genuinely most people come back and just it's a quick thank you or thanks very much for the review. We'll repost it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But we have had a few people who absolutely just ignore us. And we're a small channel, you know. And actually, it does make Jane and I think, do we really want to go and see their show next year when they were, you know, when all they had to do, you know, and we raved about a show this year. And the guy, it was a music show, the guy that did it, I mean, and we were doing it on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, and obviously our TikTok, we got 5 million over the month of August in TikTok, as I've said before. So we were for that month we were big on TikTok, but this guy didn't respond at all. Didn't even acknowledge just a thumbs up, you know. So next year we won't be going to see his show. So I'm with you on the fact that, you know, if they don't respond, you know, with just even a thumbs up, what does that cost, you know? So
well, that's the thing. Common courtesy isn't so common, right? So you can't expect it.
Exactly.
It's nice when you get it,
no.
but you have your choice. You can say, "Well, we'll boycott, or we won't mention you, or whatever." That's your recourse.
I'm not into
and
that.
There are a few people over the years.
I know. I'm just saying though that there are options if you want to do that, but either way, they probably don't give a rat's ass. So that's the.
Well, that's
I think
obvious.
you're right. I mean, but
that's obvious. They don't.
So why should you cover them? Is the answer? Yeah. I mean,
because you like the products, you don't have to get a pat on the back. So,
yeah.
I mean, I know you want it. It's nice to all the work you put into it, but they're not. You can't expect that from them because they're just a company. They don't give a shit.
I mean, I have to say, for the arts in the arts world in Edinburgh, it's a massive. Obviously, we saw over 40 shows last year, and we're talking about 2, I think maybe 3 at most. So it's a very, very small number.
It stands
people
out,
that would do that.
I mean, those companies don't even care about their employees, right? How are they going to care about someone who's outside the company?
True. You know,
So.
And on the other front, we've, you know, some of the shows, and I'm still in contact with some of the people that I've met over the years, and occasionally they tell me when they're, you know, that when they're touring and stuff like that, so we can actually do something to help them, you know. So it is a quid pro quo thing to some extent. Yes, you do it because you love it, but you know, it doesn't cost them anything. It's free marketing as far as they're concerned.
So
yeah.
Ranzee, last time,
You
the
know.
ones that did respond, were any of them on this list this time and they didn't respond?
No,
Any repeats?
no. I didn't
So
do
different.
any.
It was all different. Okay.
I mean, there was one that got close to getting the award, but
Okay.
they didn't get it. And that was IntelliGel. They got close. They were definitely up there. I think they came second with their module, if I remember rightly. But yeah, look, I kind of, there's a couple of things I want to say. Like, I kind of don't feel like I did it to get. Does that make sense?
No,
like, I
you
didn't
didn't.
set
Yeah,
out
no,
to
you
do
didn't.
it to get their response. And I didn't expect them to respond, but I still feel like it's natural for me to feel disappointed that they didn't. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
So I'm not.
Absolutely.
Well,
I'm
it's
not,
a nice surprise when you get it, but don't be surprised when you don't get it.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I know what you
Yeah.
mean. I shouldn't be too disappointed that I didn't.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that there were 4 or 5 or whatever it was awards, 4 awards, sorry, but not one said anything. Like, just it was complete radio silence, and we did exactly the same the year before, and we got 3 out of the 4 last year. So I was expecting to get at least one. So yeah.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be like that French guy. They'll come after you. Like, don't even talk about our products.
Well,
So,
You know.
yeah.
Well, how dare you give it the best products of the world?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sure.
exactly,
Let's
Yes.
bring it on.
How dare
If he
you
wants to
make
do
a
that,
second,
bring
yeah.
it on.
Yes, that'd be good.
it's like Spinal Tap. Don't point. Don't even point at that thing. You've seen enough of that one. So,
Yeah.
So if you're wondering why I ranted about it, and then I had that thought about, do we bother doing that news segment anymore? And of course the answer is, of course we do the news segment, because there's a couple of reasons why we do it. And I've told you guys this for years. Number one is that if we rant on a whole, not rant, sorry, if we talk about a product that has been on all the other synth shows during the week, we have something to add. That's why we're talking about it, because we feel as a group here we've got something to discuss and add, and maybe that hasn't been brought up in those other shows, because those other shows are limited for time, especially Sonic State. It only goes for an hour, so they don't get a lot of time to talk about stuff on there. Generally speaking, like, if Pro Synth Network do it on Friday and they cover everything, and I don't feel like I need to, you've probably heard me say it before, I'm not covering this because I don't think we need to cover it. It's done. It's been done and dusted.
That,
mean,
and you might find product that someone has seen, like even one of us hasn't seen it. We've gone, oh, I've not seen this, and it's sort of like, oh,
There's a small risk there.
one spot on our list. Not saying we'll ever get it, but
One of the things
I guarantee
I've
if
hoped,
Chompy wanted something, Chompy would have responded.
Yeah.
we did show
Chompy
Chompy.
Yeah.
One of the things I hope is what you guys get out of it. It's more important than getting a response from those companies, by the way, is what you guys get out of us showing you the news segment, and that is that I believe that we show you stuff that you've never heard of, and you guys here, like some of the stuff I show you, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from? And
You're always showing
Especially the
stuff I've never heard
modular stuff. You're more dedicated.
in my days, I'm bored. I do things. I find things, and that's what I guess one of my talents. Is I can find
and it
things.
sends us on a rabbit hole of checking, because then we'll go and look for that product that we didn't know existed or anything.
Yeah.
Find there, and they've got other products that we've gone, oh god, they've got this as well. Oh, and off you go.
Yeah.
That is the purpose.
When you talk about on a weekly basis, we talk about these products, and you don't expect people to respond necessarily then, but when you've given them an award, and you're not giving them a physical award, it's a virtual award. 3 years ago, before the pandemic, we did do a Sinners Award for Edinburgh Fringe, and actually we out of all the shows that we saw, we brought it down to top. I think it was top 5, really. And actually, interestingly enough, each one, and we did a little, sort of graphic thing of an award, like you do. And actually, if I think back to it, all of them came back and said thank you. and then again some of them repost it. So an award is something different to just what you see normally.
Yeah.
We don't expect them to actually, but I think they all should have responded.
But the award wasn't
so
what I
shame
thought.
on you people.
The award wasn't what I thought, Ian. It wasn't what I personally thought, right? And by the way, I've always considered this show as
all of us thought. Everybody in the chat and all of us.
Everyone in this community thought.
Yeah, because they were all dissing my faults.
Yeah, and Daren didn't get his any love that week. He went.
And a phaser doesn't win every week.
I was hitting that.
And
Darren made this
I think
noise
Daren simply told them not to respond
after he walked out of
because
the
he was
studio.
mad.
and you know,
And
it's
Rave.
made me think twice about buying an Arturia Polybrook 12 now. So there.
No, I don't expect. It's not an
Actually,
expectation,
Rob's
guys. So don't read me wrong. All it was just I just thought it was bizarre that not one even gave a thumbs up or a mention or anything like that. Having said that, I'll wake up tomorrow morning and there'll be some.
It's probably.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, but actually,
it won't
Rob
make any
said-
difference now.
Yeah, Rob
Yeah.
said to contact them directly and tell them that they've won and who chose them, and do it via email.
Nah, Rob, I know
he
you.
said,
I know you do that. I know Rob does that, and hats off to him, and he's good at that stuff. I feel like tagging them in social media it should be sufficient.
That should be enough.
It should be sufficient. Like, you know, I haven't got time, and I don't get paid for this shit either.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you guys could be right. It could have just completely flew past the keeper without them realizing it, and that's possible. I find it
It's all
weird that all
possible,
four of them.
yeah.
I find it weird that all four of them did, but anyway, that's fine. Anyway, let's not rant. Sort of dwell on the point. I guess the point I'm trying to sort of make from that was the event was that they didn't say anything, but then a realization was, should we keep doing the news segment? And then the sort of thought process was, bloody oath we should, because it's really really important for this community.
It is, yeah.
And you do it for the love of it too. You know,
Yeah.
you don't just throw it out
Yes,
there, and
it's-
people like it or they don't like it.
it's-
So
Yeah.
It's good to sometimes be reminded why you're doing something, you know,
Yeah.
why you enjoy it. Why it's
And
worthwhile.
when you think about that, I'm even sort of just processing in my head now, bouncing off you guys. I'm kind of thinking, well, what I probably, like you said, Andy, I probably really shouldn't care about what they think. I should more care about
To
what
not be
you guys
surprised,
think, because
you know,
you
it's just-
guys are the reason why we're doing it, and what you think is much more important than what they think. Exactly.
I do that on
exactly.
my tracks every other week when
Keep
someone's
that
on the
in your
YouTube.
head.
Yeah. Right.
Make a t-shirt.
We've got some really really good news.
Have we?
Yes, because I'm going to run this stinger, and you're going to think, "Holy shit! I didn't expect that." Yeah. This segment is brought to us by Plugin Guru, so big hats off to Skippy. If you guys know him, do support his product. The software that he does is awesome. Yes, it is a Name That Synth segment. We've got one sent in. It's not me. As I said to you guys before, we'll go through how you guys can contribute to this segment after this one's been done. But let's just run through the rules. Name That Synth is, if you've never ever played this with us before, the name of the game is that you have to guess what synthesizer is being shown on this video, and then you need to type that into chat. Now you can type it into Twitch chat or YouTube chat. I can't watch Twitter, so I don't really know. Not Twitter, sorry, TikTok. What am I saying? I can't watch TikTok, so I do apologize for the TikTok viewers. I don't think there's anyone on TikTok viewing us anyway. But if you could jump into YouTube or Twitch, let us know in there. That'd be great. The video will play for just under a minute. You've got another 30 seconds to put your answers in. When I say time is up, that is no more submissions after that. Now, you can have as many guesses as you like, but your first guess, because everything is chronological in this day and age, your first guess is your official guess, and then anything after that won't be counted, but you can keep guessing if you like. And we might give you like a pat on the back if you get it right. But if that's not your first guess, you won't win. If you are the person that guesses it and you are the first person that guesses it correctly, you will win a copy of the Plugin Guru Unify software and some other bits and pieces, and that is yours. And you get, obviously, we have to collect some information from you and send that off with your permission to Plugin Guru. Okay, let's do it, shall we? Who's excited? It's been a while since we've done one of these. I know you guys are going to love this, by the way. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to play the video. I'm going to mute everyone here. The screen will go to full screen, and then you guys can put your answers in, and then I'll give it a 30-second countdown after that. Now, let me find my 30-second countdown video. I have got, just so you know, about 102 scenes to look through to find it. There it is, I found it. Cool. Right. We're going to go across. We're going to mute. We'll give you guys another 30 seconds to put your guesses in. It's not these sounds, by the way. All right, time is up, everybody. There we have it. Name that synth. So anything that's above my time is up comment in the chat. Yeah. So we've had a few guesses here. We've had Robbie reckons it was Polyvox. Chris, you said Quasar MIDI. Bab said Korg Triton Extreme. Mark said a Jupiter 6. Jamie said Yamaha CS30. There's, yeah. Andy Synchrotron said no friggin' clue.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
All
right.
Shot in the dark.
Let's reveal it. Daren, you didn't even have a go, did you? You just completely...
I was too busy umming and ahhing because I hadn't got a clue, but I was thinking more of a sort of 7M8.
Yeah.
That tracker, mini tracker thing.
I know what this is. I'm not going to give it away, but afterwards I'll tell you some of the things that should have given it away. By the way, any more answers in the chat don't count now because I said time was up. All right, let's go back over to the video and let's do the reveal.
Oh,
the EMU Systems Proteus 2500. Nobody got it. Nobody got it.
But the
I was going to say Command Station, but it didn't look quite right. So that's crazy.
So,
yeah. But now that you know what it is, you now are saying, I heard drums, I heard different synth sounds. It was just, you're like, bugger. Yeah.
I had no idea they'd had evolved that far to a different product. I only remember the original Proteus modules.
Yeah.
From the 90s. So that's when I sort of got out of it. So it was a black hole. I didn't realise that continued.
Everyone's throwing their synths at the screen right now. The visuals were useless, says Babs.
Sound banks of nicely sampled analog.
Look,
Yeah.
don't shoot the messenger. I didn't do this video. Hey, Wigoo, you can't complain. You know, it wasn't my video.
Stuff I didn't know existed.
Yes. Now I'll let you
always
know.
good to know.
I will let you guys know who it was that put it through, and the guy's name is Tristan, and his YouTube channel is Kiss of the Whip. We've had Tristan do a Name That Synth before.
Cool.
So this is his.
Thanks,
I
buddy.
believe it's his second one. So big thank you to Tristan, by the way, for sending that in. Much appreciated. And I love this. If you ever want to know what floats me boat, this does. When people put content in for this show, and we all get to lap it up and enjoy. I love it. So good work. Very, very good work.
Thank you.
Let's just go across to tell everyone, if you want to contribute to the Name That Synth, all you got to go is to ranzee.com. Pretty easy domain. And then click on this link here that says Name That Synth. Bang. And then it tells you how to play if you're watching the show. Tells you a bit about our giveaway partner, which is Plugin Guru and the Unify software. I'll go into that in a sec because I want to show what you can win. But also, if you want to contribute, it actually has a bit of information about what sort of video and how long it should go for and all that sort of thing. There's an example one there. And if you've won, in which case Tristan has, you can only win once, unfortunately. I don't know if Tristan's won before or not, but if he has won, all he's got to do is fill in his details here. There are some terms and conditions, and those terms and conditions are just standard for any competition. He fills that in and gives me permission to send that to Plugin Guru. Now, while we've got Plugin Guru up, I should probably mention these are the sponsors of this segment, so we should give them a bit of love. There is a sale on which ends tomorrow, by the way. You guys may want to go check that out. So that Unify is only $59. Normally it's $79, so it's $20 off if you want to get yourself a copy of Unify. But if you're wondering what Unify is, who here's got it, by the way, out of you guys?
Yes,
I haven't.
So what it is, it's basically really, really quick layman's thing. It's basically a multi-host plugin software package. So you can load a whole bunch of different types of plugins, and you can then layer patches, and you can use it as a library manager. You can then, it's really, really big in that sense. It's kind of like a central part for you to create sort of big luscious soundscapes and things like that. And it does a hell of a lot more than what I just said anyway, by the way.
It's a little bit like what Roland did with that new thing in the cloud that allows you to stack stuff.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of that thing, but
yeah, but more importantly, it's flexible, that it allows you to load VST2s and VST3s and audio units. So it's got some, good source code in there that gets you to do that. Anyway, Name That Synth. It'd be awesome if we could have one next week. If you guys didn't like his video, you thought it was too hard, then do your own. It's only a minute video. By the way, the purpose why we invented this segment was one purpose only, and that is that if anyone's done a Name That Synth, you'll be able to vouch for this. It gets you in front of a piece of hardware that makes you think about it in a way to express that hardware, gets you to know it better, it gets you more intimate with it, and then you're able to create something creative with that piece of hardware and show that to the world. So I think that's a cool thing, and it gives you I've done plenty of these myself, and Daren's done one, and can't remember if you've done one yet, Andy. I don't think you have yet.
I did 3 or 4 of them.
Okay, so cool. You've done them.
Yeah.
I haven't done one yet.
So they're quite tricky to do, aren't they, Andy? But
they're tricky when the stuff is so iconic. You really have to just crop the shit out of it, color correct it, do all kinds of tricks to.
Yeah, you have to do
because some little thing will just totally give it away.
Yeah, the visuals aren't important, by the way. That's the thing that we don't really care about. I mean, the one that I saw recently was that guy put the black sheet over the keyboard, which I thought was really clever. Come up with your own inventive ways of doing it, and that's what I love about it.
No rules about how you disguise it. It's up to
Exactly.
you.
Exactly. Right. What have we got left to do? We've done Name That Synth. We've done... oh, yeah. We can do this segment now. I bet you guys have been wondering about this one. Oh, not that one. That one.
Yeah, hey.
I got big fingers and I pressed 2 buttons at the same time then. That's my excuse and I'm sticking with it. Right. Price Watch. Andy, I found some really interesting ones for you this week. I think you'll like the last one. But starting with the Baldwin Synthesound. Have you guys heard of this thing?
No, interesting.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything special.
And they're
It's only
mostly known for
$1,500
organs,
US.
right? So that's kind of weird.
Baldwin were organs, yeah. Yeah, I remember Baldwin organs.
Let's have a look at the eBay listing and we'll go into the full screen of this thing. There's a little bit of controls, right, on it. A little bit of controls. But, you know, what are those little wooden bits and pieces on the front? Are they touch plates or are they just there for...
It's the original Morphe. So
Yeah, it's what I was thinking, mate. That's what I was thinking. Wow.
Wow.
Tidy the cord up on the bottom there.
it's the old days when they had the cord built in, right?
Good
No
old,
detachable cord.
good old speakers on the side there.
Wow, look at those speakers.
Hey, but by the way, guys, check out the shag pile carpet while we're at it. It's been through a bit.
Rand, just go back to that. Yeah, they're triggers. Those wooden things are triggers. It says trigger.
Those things there.
Oh, for
Yeah,
percussion.
the
maybe?
other one's probably something different, but that left one is a trigger. So, and the other one says
Tremolo
read it.
off. So it's a button.
tremolo off. Yeah,
Oh, there you go. Good spotting there, Ian.
it's quite cool.
Right.
Actually.
Re-it. Re-it.
Yeah.
What is re-it? Or is that right?
No,
Right.
it's not Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a
Oh,
whole
you're
flute
right.
section there. Lots of flutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. External input. Wow. Okay, so what happens with the external input? Plug the guitar in. Oh, that one's for Kent.
Wow.
There you go,
Yeah.
Kenty boy.
Lovely.
Where's Kent?
He'll be happy as long as there's no Molex connectors.
He is there.
Oh, there are. Dang.
He did say something about it too. It's an organ top.
Yeah.
It's loosely based on a Wurlitzer
That's
one.
wire wrapping.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All
So
right.
yours for $1,500 US schmackaroonies, and this one is based in California. There you go. I haven't actually heard of the Baldwin Synthesound before, so that's why I put this one in. By the way, if you guys see any images,
Sounds like something from
any
Blackadder.
videos that are on this show, Ranzee.com, it'll have them there within about a day or so of the show airing. You guys can go discover all this. There'll be links to these auctions. If you actually look at this and you go, I want to buy that, how do I get hold of it? Just go to my website. You'll be able to click on the link.
Okay, when I go to NAMM, I'll go pick it up. So
There is a slight... I do set up affiliate links with Reverb and eBay, but it doesn't cost you anything. I get a kickback from eBay. So it's a new thing that I've done. I think it's actually a pretty cool idea. I stole that idea off of Tom from Synth Anatomy.
Okay.
I thought that was a great idea. Right, next is this Access Virus TI Snow. The reason why I wanted to show the Access Virus is because I kind of got this feeling like the balloons deflated a bit on this baby.
You mean
And
prices?
yeah, $1,300
yeah, they have
Australian
started
is
dropping.
actually pretty damn good. That's about £700, just shy of £700.
Well, now they have virus and software, so people don't want to buy the hardware.
Well, you can get the
so.
clone thing now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, I don't know how you're going to get the firmware because that's the hard part. It only works with the real firmware, but there is ways. Anyway, let's have a look at the auction. Sean Connery version.
But if it didn't have a TI, I'd definitely get a Snow because it's a nice unit.
silent drive.
Money penny. Virus. Get the virus Snow and pocket around the front. Anyway,
Because of slap.
He's turning over in his grave right now, Sean. The thing I was kind of really
lovely module.
I used to lust after getting not the Snow, obviously the TI.
Yeah, TI's great.
Yeah, the Snow is just a cut back version of it, but really you don't really miss out on much. You still get the sounds, right?
Yeah, it's similar to like the Blofeld is kind of a cut down.
Yeah,
something or other. So
cut down of the I know what you mean, the other thing.
Yeah.
All right. This next one I was definitely surprised to see coming up as an auction or reverb, what do you want to call it? Same thing. I mean, reverb's basically an auction, but you don't bid. You just you do bid in a way. You make an offer. The Arturia Microbrute, and this is the SE, the special edition with
I had
the
that
white.
one, the white one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, what surprises me is this is about £210, and these things were pretty cheap when they first came out. So £210 I thought was pretty up there. This one's in New York, by the way.
Yeah, but it's got custom knobs put on it.
Yeah, you put custom knobs. It didn't come that way.
Oh, yeah, patch sheets.
I've got that.
All the goodies, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon most of us would have had a microbrute at one stage.
Nope.
They're great.
No?
Nope. Nearly bought it several times. But nope.
Yeah, me too.
I love the sound out of it. Like, there's a little oscillator section up the top left, right? And you can blend all of those different oscillator sounds together.
Yeah. Metalizer.
Yeah.
And all kinds of
Sounds
stuff.
really
Very
deep, too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
170 quid on reverb.
There you go.
Not that one, just a standard one.
Oh, just a blue one, yeah.
Yeah.
The blue-grey, I think you'd call it, wouldn't you? The old blue-grey colour.
Yeah, classic Arturia colours.
It's another one. 140 quid.
Grey, blue.
So
there you go. So 210 versus 140.
Yeah, it's a bit pricey, isn't it?
It is a bit pricey.
These are all in Europe, actually.
You could get yellow ones, canary yellow ones, or lemon yellow, I think they're called.
They had a pink one. They had a yellow one.
They had a
baby
pale
one.
blue, yeah, pale baby blue, yeah. Anyway, next is the Lindrum LM2. Obviously, it's timely to show this thing.
Sorry.
This is 10,000 Aussie, which is £5,000. This one's based in Florida, I think. Anyway, there is a Florida. Pretty good looking version of this one. Very clean. Very nice. The wood looks good so far. I'm happy with that. This one looks like it might have had a bit of a restore. Either that or it's been looked after.
Yeah, it looks like the panel's been
very clean. Very
re-panel.
clean. Yeah. Like a new screen print on the panel, maybe. Interested to see. Maybe it might say it. But anyway, all the individual outs. The LM2 is probably the one I would have gone for if I was to get one.
Yep.
By the way.
Yeah.
Let's see. Blah, blah, blah.
I agree.
Doesn't say anything about it. The panel's a beautiful condition. Doesn't say anything about it being restored. Kent, let us know if you did anything to that baby.
Yeah. I doubt it was kept in a smoke-free studio all the time.
Well, all of my stuff's always been smoke-free. And same with you, Chris.
Yes. Well, other than electronics burning.
Other than the magic smoke. Which you have a bit of that going on every now and then.
And the scary lead fumes, apparently.
Now, so you just saw that was $10,000 Aussie or £5,000, right? The next one, I've never heard of this, and it's not because they're rare or anything. I just had never heard of it. This is the 4AT F9000. Have you guys ever heard of this thing?
No.
So it's about half the price, 50% more expensive.
There was the Lin 9000. I wonder if this is
The Lin
its
9000,
proper
right? It's just a
name.
repackaged
Yeah.
9000.
Oh, so Lin 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it does
it's
look
called,
like it. Yeah.
but this is called a 4-Rat 9000, which means
because it says Lin.
which means
Yeah,
this
yeah.
was, I think this
Okay.
was made in in 2019 or something. It's actually quite recent, right?
Oh, I see.
And look at the
Right.
woodwork on that baby.
Yeah, it's very
That
pretty.
looks very nice.
This is one of Jan Hammer's Miami Vice drum machines.
Yeah, yeah.
The 9000.
Rob's saying that modified Lin 9000 by Bruce Forat, who owns the Lin IP. So it's a
Yeah, it's got his name on it. If you, I don't know if you saw it just here.
This right, yeah.
yeah.
Display.
But this is all kind of newish. If I remember, I think
wow,
it's,
they're cards.
Yeah, so here we
Nice.
go. Built by Bruce Forat in October 2019.
Wow.
There, so you can see that. That has the 4-Rat expansions plus extras. Sampling card with 18 pads sampling, 64K memory, which is max time on all the pads, 256K RAM memory expansion, which is max time on the buffer. It's got the latest 7.09 OS with matched machined socket in the motherboard for more stable operation. I don't know what that means, but obviously there must have been some sort of issue with it. 14 different sampling rates from 11K to 37K. So 37K is not too shabby. It's just a bit shy of the old CD qual, but not too shabby.
Emax 239K.
What were these, Rob, if you know much about them, what were these when they were sold brand new? Were they around that price, or is this should we do it? Should we do it? Is this one of these? No, this one.
Chairs, 4 of them. What do you want? 180. He's dreaming.
Dad, 450.
But jousting sticks. Tell him he's dreaming.
Dreaming, I believe. Oh, what happened there? I definitely don't think I'd be getting that thing, the 4-Rat F9000. Yeah, I could spend 15 grand on many other things. Definitely. Does the Borat
as much.
have anything to do with the 4-Rat? Does it wear a mankini?
Yeah.
You can
Boot
find
it up to this
Yeah,
Chinqui.
Yeah. Rob says 9000s were 5K new back in the day.
So this is 7.5K UK.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the price watch segment. What out of that floated your boat? Was it the Baldwin Synth, the Access Virus TI, Snow? And speaking of Snow, was the Microbrute Snow version as well, the white Microbrute. And then there was the two different formats of Lin drum. That's the LM2, the real one, or the 4-Rat F9000. It's a real 80s name, though. The F9000. It's like, it's like, what version you got?
Race car.
Well, all the NPCs were thousands, from
Yeah.
after 9, saw 1,000,
A
3,000,
90s thing.
2,000.
I had the lowly MPC 500, so
Yeah, which was supposedly the best,
Little guy.
the best last one. Yeah.
Yeah, so which one would you get if you wanted to get one? You can say none.
Lindrum be cool.
I'd actually probably get the Brute, but the LM2 I can't go past. Although that's too good a museum piece to sit in here. That would be a shame.
Indeed.
I really don't know. I could do with a brew, I suppose, at some point, but and I've got all the Lin sounds. But
I've got a sticky brute at the moment.
it'd be nice to play a proper Lin drum, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's a sticky brute. Typical Arturia.
There's that.
Freaking
there's that thing.
Paint shit problems.
That you just did they ever fix that? Because that's just put me off it, off buying one.
I did read somewhere in the Polybrute documentation that it doesn't suffer from the sticky paint. They made sure of it. Like, I don't know. I read somewhere, and I had a little laugh about it, because I'm like,
Yes.
I mean, 3 times I've been bitten by that company with sticky paint issues.
Yeah.
As bad as the red.
I wiped down my
BeatStat,
mini brute. The original
actually
mini
more than
brute.
3 times. BeatStat Pro, Mini Brute, Micro Brute, and Sparkle. That's 5 times I've been bitten by them now.
My spark wasn't sticky. But...
We'll see what the drum brute impactor, how that lasts.
You guys saw the video that I did.
Rob's
with the
getting upset in the
BeatStat
chat because obviously people are saying that there's an LM2. He says there's no such thing as an LM2. So
Yes, Lindrum too, technically.
All right.
I think. The LM1 and the Lindrum too.
Let him get upset. It's not going to affect anyone.
I think he's upset. He's
And then the
shouting.
MPC
He's shouting
60
now.
and then
Calm,
et cetera, et cetera.
Rob. Calm. Happy New Year, mate.
See, I love that. There's that video
Forgive
going
us,
around.
Father, for we have seen.
where
Think
there's
think
that
of some
comedian.
modular.
Have you guys seen that video going around where he talks about how people get offended? And it's a comedian, right? And he goes, "What actually happens when you get offended? Nothing. Nothing happens. You just got offended. That's it."
yeah.
Yes, it's
Somewhere
something
a
happens
baby llama
entirely
died.
inside you. Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's a good point.
I think I offended Robbie last week with the Christmas show when I was bad-mouthing the Volkswagen Passat. It wasn't personal, Robbie. It's well, maybe it was. Okay. One thing I wanted to show you guys is actually a couple of things I wanted to show you. I'm always rabbiting on about how I love the granular synth in the Polyend tracker, right? That's it there.
Yes.
That's the granular synth there. So if you've got one of these things and you think, how hard is it to get a granular synth up? It is so easy that it's not funny how easy this is. You literally load your sample through the sample loader, and then you go to sample playback, which is the next button, and you scroll down to it says granular, and then you've got all of these cool controls here, like position and length and shape and loop. And then, lo and behold, you can actually connect the keyboard up via USB, and you can make it. So let's just let's isolate all these sounds so we can just.
Wait,
hear
without a
this.
keyboard, how do you trigger it right now with the box?
Oh, you can do it there.
I used to the
Right
keyboard
there.
on the bottom, chromatic.
So it acts like a keyboard. Okay.
Yeah,
You don't have to
Well,
make a
that's-
sequence
I-
to get it going.
it is hard to remember where your C is and your F.
So that's what it
and
sounds like. So what I've done is I've gone and layered a few other sounds with this. So I've got a Novation Peak. I've got a Roland System 8 with a bit of a Jupiter sort of sound in the background. And I've got this, and I've also got another granular synth, which is on Ableton, which is this baby here called Granulator 2. And the reason why I got Granulator 2 out is because I wanted to find out, how cool is this compared to the simplistic version of the granular stuff on the Polyend tracker. And obviously there's a crap load more features on here that you can do. And I could have also used Arturia pigments as well, if you're wondering. There's a few other bells and whistles that you can use. But anyway, let's go back to there. And if I just press any key on my keyboard, now that is just layering sounds, and I want to show you guys what it sounds like without layering it. So if we go up to just doing that, that's just that. Without the delay, of course. It's an SH101 sound.
Sequence.
I'm going to go back to the granular. And you can muck around with this thing. You know, you guys know how granular works.
Ranzee, do you ever have a micro granny before?
Yeah.
You have one of those?
I've had one, yeah.
Yeah. It's noisy but fun.
So, one of the only things that I don't like about this is that there's no sort of well, there is envelope control. I should show you that. There is envelope control in here. So you go to the next screen.
There's also filtering, yeah.
And you've got
LFO.
cut-off filtering there, and then you've got some envelope controls on the granular position. Cool. In a way, there's kind of envelope controls, right? But one of the things I would love, just to, you know, this has got a computer in it, is when you're changing pitch. I don't want it to change the speed. I want it to warp it. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I want it to do. And there are some granular synths out there that can do that. So I thought I'd show that because it is a very basic granular synth. It does do polyphonic. It's really, really easy to use, like to load a sample, to drop it in, turn it on granular, set your position, set your length up. Couple of other controls on it, and away you go, and it's MIDI manipulative. It's that cool. For example, one of the things you can do with it that is a really cool effect is you can get I think I showed it briefly. Actually, I'll just go back to the shot. You can go to the instrument section up here, and if you go to granular position, you can sync the LFO, which you can do.
To tempo.
Yeah. And then you can then get see how it's based on steps here. So you can get your position moving, whether it's square, triangle, random. Random's cool, so let's try that. So we go to this one here, and we just go using our Amiga keys, guys. Hear that sound?
Love those keys.
Oh, it's beautiful. 16 steps.
Clacky.
16 steps is cool. Okay, so we've got that 16 steps, and you can set the amount, and this is basically how much it moves. Probably 5 is probably good. Like, you don't want to go crazy on this thing. And then you go back to here, and when you're so if we set this length to say like 300, yeah, 300 and something, that'll do. Alright, now we've got to go back to here, and we definitely know that we've got to increase the amount. What I love about this is all these things here, straight axis and jog wheel there. So let's go to 50, see if that makes it a bit more crazy. This is always fun, this stuff, mucking around. There you go, it's kind of just randomly scrolling around. And you can change the position of this thing. You can change how it loops. Ping pong.
Sounds a bit like something
Yeah, I
from
use
Magnetic
ping pong
Fields.
a lot. Yeah.
You get some happy accidents doing this stuff.
That's kind of what the tracker is. It's very much a happy accidents. I mean, you can do things conventionally. You can kind of.
But if you hook up a
There's a
MIDI
framework.
keyboard, you get velocity after touch, right? Or no?
You get velocity.
Yeah, all that stuff's
reduction.
manipulative through here, this section here, the instrument section.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can change all of this stuff here. Yep. I mean, it's limited though. It's really, really limited in that sense. Like, it's a tracker. It's not really supposed to be a granular synth. But I just kind of feel like that's almost like an Easter egg in that little tracker synth. But you guys hear me talking about it all the time. There it is there. I just kind of feel it's cool.
It's kind of simple and immediate.
Yeah, and the
Quite
visuals are so
Visual,
nice.
Yeah. No, I do like the wave scanning, showing you where it is. That is
So
very
even
nice.
even when I'm pressing on the keyboard, it still shows it. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to show you guys this week too is right next to it. You probably would have noticed. I spy with my little eye something beginning with B. BlueARP.
BlueARP.
There's a new firmware out.
BlueARP.
New firmware out. Now, did you guys? I don't know if you guys follow Greyleg, and his YouTube channel. But there is a new video. Let's just click on that.
Yeah, I'm curious what he changed. I haven't used mine in a long time.
So videos. Now, I'm not going to play you this video. It's 48 minutes long, right? But I think he does go over it as a demo, which I think he would be happy for me to show. So the new version of BlueARP, version 2.7, he's now. It's probably hard to sort of go over what he's added over the last year or so. He's added quite a lot to this, right? But the new version has added guitar strumming.
Oh, cool.
To this, and it's, by the way, there's no synth in here, right? This is just all MIDI or CV if you've got the hardware. Okay, so let's go and have a look at his demo of it running. By the way, you can do this on the software as well, right? So let's have a look. So I'm not going to play that because I don't want to copyright claim because it's a well-known song.
Kabing.
Right? But that is now in here in the hardware as well. If you guys own the hardware, you know, you don't need to. By the way, you don't need to buy the hardware if you just run this thing in your computer in software, because you can get the software for free. And the hardware is a little bit pricey if you were to buy. I think it's about €700 to get this thing. And there's a waiting list, but this thing is insanely cool to have. Anyway, I've installed it on here, but one of the other things I wanted to show you guys is that there's actually a controller app now for Mac that he's done, and he's just got me to do a couple of basic tests on this. So here it is here. So the controller on the Mac connects to the BlueARP via USB. And you can control, if I sort of do a split here, where you can, and that's not going to do it. Hang on, is it quick play? No, cut, no, zoom, merge. Yeah, this one's going to, no, merge is not doing it. What the hell? Fade. Are you kidding me? Alright, I can't do it. I need to... No. Yeah, I need to do that. So...
Picture in picture.
Go back to here. And put the BlueARP in the corner. If I touch the knob here, right, you'll see... Do you see how that yellow thing is moving across? So whatever I touch on the controller is happening on the controller software. You can actually see it in real time happening. It is cool. So the cool thing about it is, I guess, one thing that you would have picked up very, very, very avidly is that the hardware looks nothing like the software.
True.
Right? But that's not really true, because all the features and all the menu options and everything are in the two screens. Okay. He hand makes all of these, by the way, I should mention. One thing that you probably are wondering is, why would you get the hardware version? Because it's got an insane amount of connectivity on it. It's a USB host. You've got 2 DIN MIDI
CV on the
ins,
sides,
and you've got 4 DIN MIDI outs, and then on the side you've got 1 1/4-inch CV control, so that's compatible with the Moogs, as well as it does work with Eurorack. I've got videos on my channel that it works on it, and you save all your projects on an SD card. Firmware updates are done via the SD card. Everything's easy. Powered by USB, so you can run it off a battery bank. It doesn't take much power at all. It's very, very light powered. It's got a really, 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 really stable clock on it as well. That's another cool thing about it. So one of the things I've said is you could run it as your master clock, and because it's all MIDI, DIN and stuff like that, USB as well, everything can be run off of it. It does have filtering, MIDI filtering and things like that in there. Anyway, basically anything in the app, anything in the BlueARP app, pretty much is in the hardware to a degree. There are some things in the software that you just can't do on the hardware because it's software only features, right? There's a new drum system in here. So there's a guitar strumming, there's a drum strumming, what am I saying? Guitar strumming and
drum sequencing.
Drum sequencer. This is what I want to get to. And you've got all of these different projects that are all built into. Some of them are actual copyrighted, like that's Dead Mouse's Plucks. So you know, but you can see right down the back here.
Wow.
He's got these are all pattern-based arpeggiators.
Yeah.
Just have a look how many there are. Like, it's insane how much is in here. And that is just, 128 programs, right? And then on top of that, you can actually change any of these and save these yourself and save it to the SD card. Whatever you're doing on the controller software happens on the hardware straight away. Nice. So it's literally a computer interface to the hardware. But you don't need to. You don't need that. You can just do it here. Like, you can go through all the menus on here and do it that way too.
Does he have a PC version of that control software as well?
Yeah, there's a Windows version's been out for a while. This is the new Mac one.
Mac one. Okay.
Yeah, so the Windows one's there. You can get that. Actually, go back to the website. On his website, this is OMG Instruments. This is the DM, the desktop module, so that we're looking at, not the plugin. Okay, so we're looking at the desktop module, and you can get, where are we?
Yeah, it's a waiting list at the moment, Ranz. $790 for one, but you have to email for the waiting list.
There's two different versions of it, by the way. There's a white version and a blue version. And I believe mine, because mine's actually a beta. I was actually, me and, who was the other guy?
Yeah, I'm on the beta as well.
Marshall, you were as well, weren't you? Marshall Arnold.
Yeah.
We got it slightly cheaper. It wasn't much cheaper. So yeah, it just shows you some of the differences between the software and the hardware, but it's pretty much the same.
Nice thing, it did include the little converters for the CV to make it 1/4 inch to MIDI.
Yeah, you got little physical converter plugins. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's a pretty deep project, and I just wanted to give him a bit of love. And it's still active. Like, he's I have to admit, he hasn't done much with it probably for a little while, but then he brings out this guitar strumming thing, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So you guys don't need to go and buy the hardware to check it out. You can just go and buy the plugin, right? It's literally a free VST, or I think, what version can you get? You can get VST and Windows and OS X, and it works on, well, I've got it, you guys have seen me use it on my Mac before. It works on the Silicon Macs. You get VST 32-bit, 64-bit, AU MIDI FX 64-bit for Logic Pro, And yeah, this is it's just free. Just go grab it. If anything, if you're into arpeggiators, that's probably, I'm a bit of an arpeggiator nerd. It's probably one of the best arpeggiators out there.
Yeah.
So if you've never had BlueARP, I think you've got it, haven't you, Daren? You got BlueARP.
I had done on PC. I don't think I've got it on this Mac, actually. No, I can't have it on this Mac. No.
So
otherwise, I'd have been using it.
There's a couple of different ways you can use it too. You can use it as a plugin in your DAW. You can use it to send MIDI into it as a device. I mean, not talking about hardware here now. We're just talking about the software now, right? You can use it as a plugin to send MIDI into it as a device, and then you can use the BlueARP to send MIDI out to anything internally in its connections, or you can use it as depending on what type of DAW you got. But if you've got Ableton, you know how Ableton kind of works is a bit more funky with MIDI. So MIDI kind of works as a track, which they do in most of your DAWs. But in Ableton, you have to set MIDI from and then MIDI to, and you don't necessarily have to do that in some other DAWs, and some of them you can set them as devices and things like that. Well, that's kind of the cool thing about the BlueARP, because it works with different DAWs natively. You can actually get it to do some cool things that Ableton can't do, if that makes sense. So because it's got the MIDI manipulation stuff inside the app itself, you can get, like I said, in Ableton you can get it to send MIDI to it, and then it sends it out as an app, as opposed to it going through a channel as a plugin, right? So how's a better way to describe that is probably just to show you. So in Ableton, if you chuck a VST instrument, let's just chuck any VST instrument, right? So you go into plugins, and let's just pick one. Let's just pick Arturia. I don't know, ARP 2600, right? And I just drag it into the free spot there, and wait half an hour, and it comes up. All right, so there's my plugin, right? That's nothing rocket science. You guys understand how that works. And then in Ableton, you have to set here on the channel how you want the MIDI to control this plugin, right? So you set it here. So here's the interesting thing. If I was to go to somewhere else, if I was to go to BlueARP, which is OMG, there, and chuck it in here, there's the BlueARP app, the VST. So what I can do now is I can actually go, right, I want anything from my key step 37 to go into the BlueARP, right? So in, and then I want on my VST here
to source it from.
I'm going to have to zoom out because I can't see what's written below.
You can't see what channel number is.
Yeah.
14. Is it? Oh, okay.
There it is.
Ah, cool.
So I can now set that to come from BlueARP, right? So now if I go, hang on, I have to turn all this other shit off. Let's just close that for a sec. Let's just turn all
But
these
the
channels
2600 doesn't have a small interface.
off. No. Turn everything off. Off like a sack of prawns. Here we go. So you'll see me playing on the key step, and then nothing coming in, right? So you can go post and pre. Now you can see how you can set it as a device here. So do you see that? You can set it as a device. So I can have MIDI coming from anywhere, but I need to do that. By the way, notice how it's picked up my hardware module.
Yeah,
isn't that cool?
USB.
Give it to me, give it to me. Set it up as a BlueARP, coming I think it's coming in. Now, by the way, there's nothing running on my transport right now. My transport has stopped.
Yeah, stopped.
But the BlueARP.
Cool.
So it's a device. Do you see that?
Yep.
It's really, really cool. It's like, it's one of the most intuitive bits of friggin' arpeggiator stuff you could ever want. And because it's pattern based, you guys can turn on and off steps, and you can have 64 steps or 16, it's all, I'm not going to go into it, but you guys can do that. Once you fall in love with the software, then you start to think, oh, I really want the hardware. I want the hardware. I've used it so many times in my recordings, just to have it lying around and firing MIDI off to different, just think of all the routing potentials that you've got with 4 DIN outs plus USB and CV. So 16 channels on each DIN. It's pretty insane, right? And by the way, there is I forget how many instances. Can you remember, Andy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
no.
6, 7, 8.
I need to get mine out. It's been a while
8.
since I used it.
8 instances, right?
Right.
I just did that on the hardware.
You can aim.
So there's your instance buttons there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's got 8 program instances in it, and then you can actually get each program. You can get funky with routing MIDI as well. You can
It's
set
basically 8 plugins in the box, right?
It's like 8 plugins in one box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys can go check out his video on the guitar strumming. I'm not kind of that into that sort of stuff. But what I did think though is I haven't spoken to Oleg about this, but because the BlueARP DM has the CV, I'm thinking I might run this into my Rings module. And Rings has a strum mode.
Yeah.
And I want to see how that behaves. So there's 2 ways I could do it. I could do it through MIDI and have my FH2 convert it to CV, or I could do it straight out of CV out of the DM box. And I might try both and see which one handles it better, because it depends on, with CV, it depends on the gates and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I've got a strum. There's a strum mode on an instrument, and it never really works very well. I've not come across anything that really does, apart from playing a guitar, that does. There was a program a few years ago, actually, which
Omnichord works great.
I've got an Omnichord. I've got the newer, not the newer.
There's a
new
strum
one, but
mode
I've got
in Karma as well, in the Korg Karma M3, not Korg Karma, but the Karma thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
there's one on the Kronos, which I've never looked at, actually.
It's pretty good. I was actually really impressed with it.
I should look at that. But, I mean, the Omnichord is a different sort of thing, isn't it, from a strum point of view? It's absolutely nothing like a guitar. If you're trying to emulate a guitar, I think, and that's what I think what the instrument's trying to do. It just doesn't do it great, It's almost too... I was going to say perfect. It's not perfect, but it's almost too repetitive.
You guys saw...
There's not enough variation.
You guys saw that Japanese robot guy that made the... he went insane with it, though, but he made that robot that played the guitar, right? And he used it out of all the servo motors. You guys saw that. It's been around for years, that video. And in the end, he did this at the end of the video, he did this little concert with it, and he was showing how many milliseconds he could trigger. Like it was audio rate stuff, right? He was literally getting this robot to finger tap and pick a guitar. It was a physical guitar, and it was within like 2 milliseconds, between notes. It was like, and it was audio rate, and it came out as just this kind of oscillator sound. It was crazy. And I thought to myself, you know, why not? Because you can, right? So
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You're an engineer, why not? Because you can. But the second thing I thought is like, one thing that you want with physical modeling stuff, right? One thing that you want to do in a synth, this is not what the Japanese guy was doing, but is you want it to sound as real as possible, right? You want it to sound like there's actually a guy, like, you know, your favorite guitarist, you know, like the Shadows are playing, you know, you know what I mean? Like, you want it to sound real. And in a lot of cases, most of the time it doesn't. It sounds like a synth because it just can't get the intonation of the string pluck, because, you know, you pluck it at a different angle or you pluck it harder or softer.
Well,
there's all these kind of just nuances, right? And you'll just
the
never
player
ever
is
get
listening,
it.
The player is listening to what he's playing, and that's affecting how he's playing.
Yeah.
Well, the strum mode on the
feedback
iPad in
loop.
GarageBand is quite good, though. You can strum a guitar that quite well with that one.
Yeah.
I have messed around with that.
Also, Nintendo DS has a guitar program too. You can strum the screen with that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But getting back to that Japanese thing, like they also did a drummer as well. So there was a guitar and a drummer, and one of the things I was kind of watching was the delay time between the servo motors firing sticks at. I mean, you'd love this, Chris, because you're a drummer, right? Firing these sticks, right? And these sticks were like flinging against, you know, the kick drum or tapping a snare. And I went, okay, do a snare roll. And he was doing a snare roll on this thing, and it was sounding really, really good. I guess with percussion, that sort of servo stuff can do it well. The only thing it can't probably do that well is it probably can't do swing or you know, velocity. As it could do velocity, but it probably wouldn't do it like a human. It would probably be a bit too sort of mathematical, a bit too sort of square wavy, right? It'd be like kind of a bit that sort of shit, where it's like
Depends how you program it.
I guess, you know, and how crazy it is. But so the reason why I brought that up is it kind of brought me back to this thing with Oleg, and he told me about this just before Christmas, and I was going to try and do this for the Christmas show, but it just wasn't enough time. I got it like literally the day before, so I had a bit of a chance to play with it, and I thought, you're not going to get this guitar strumming to sound like some of the best software strumming things that I've seen out there. It's not going to be anywhere near it, because it's kind of there is controls, like you can control velocity, that sort of stuff. There is controls over it. I probably shouldn't have that app running when I've got the other one.
Yeah, like check this out. You've seen this even on the phone. You can do it. So you can strum it. Sorry, I have to be able to see it.
I think you moved it slightly off screen. There you go.
And you can tap it. So I'm playing it poorly, but you get the idea. If you practice it, you can actually make it sound halfway decent. There's even auto strumming modes in GarageBand where it does like a BlueARP type pattern.
Yeah.
And strumming is very clever.
So
there's a few contact instruments as well that have guitar.
With a pattern based sequencer with an arpeggiator, it's not going to be delivering that. I don't think it's going to be delivering that kind of perfect strum thing. But his demo was pretty good. I think he just used kind of Roland GM sort of instruments or GS instruments in it, and it sounded okay. Like it sounded
better than I expected.
Yeah, but
it sounded better than I expected.
That's the thing. I don't think you're going to get like a proper sort of organic strumming sort of sound out of it. So, but like I said, if you ran that into like a physical modeling device like rings, or insert anything, you know, that replaces rings into something else, I feel like that's kind of where you might find some fun with this. So you can so like I said, you can play if you've got some sort of MIDI to CV thing in your DAW, and you can convert it to CV on your hardware. You could play with this sort of stuff for free. You know, if you've got Max for Live, you can do MIDI to CV with Max for Live, and the BlueARP software's free, and away you go. So, I don't know. That if you guys watch the show and you think, what can I do this week? I'm kind of bored. I'm at home. It's holidays. Do that.
Yeah.
Have some fun with that, or do a Name That Synth video. Yeah, do that. Name That Synth video, and do the hardware strumming sound into it.
That'll throw us off.
Actually, it would, and it would be legal because it's MIDI controlled.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, you could run your sequences into it at phenomenal rates. That'll throw us off.
Yeah. Like what that guy was doing before. It's insane, isn't it? Yeah. Do you feel like there's a bit of a... Is there a disconnect between people that just want really noisy sounding sounds to people that just want to have a nice sounding track? Do you think there's a void? Is there a void? Is it just in my mind? Is there a void happening between the two?
You could argue that void's probably always been there to some extent.
I mean, I'm thinking.
Yeah, you're probably not going to get a noise artist.
I'm thinking
Godzilla
Godzilla versus Bambi. So. That's kind of, if you want a visual.
Yes, why can't we just have a nice little tune?
In a lot of noise music, there's definitely a lack of melody. I'm not saying there's never any melody.
It's like
but
soundscape stuff.
Well, yeah, and it does lead you to go percussive with it, doesn't it? As a result, generally speaking, unless you drone it off.
Yeah, sort of hyper rhythm.
One of the things
Even Aphex Twin does some of that, the noisy percussive stuff.
Well, even you go back further, Depeche Mode. I always found one of their sort of Easter eggs of the music that they made was that they had this really cool beat and bass and melody going on, and then they'd have this kind of bizarre noisy sound that just kind of fell onto the track sort of thing, and you were just you were just disrupted by it. It was like the disruption of it, and in that, to me, is where I feel that's kind of how I would handle those noisy sort of sounds. That I like that sort of idea of it, how it becomes a disruption, but it fits. It has to fit. It can't be.
Oh, it has to fit.
It can't be annoying.
It has to be motivated.
They had a ton of that on Playing the Angel. It's a very noisy album.
It has to go to the gym.
What's my motivation?
It has to be fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes those hardware jam things are good, aren't they? Because they kind of push you to do things in a topic. So you're sort of restricted a little bit.
We have limited time and limited
sound palettes,
resources sometimes. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I've actually ever done one.
I've never done the hardware jams, and Inky was always trying to get me to do it, but it's about time as much as anything for me. And I'll be honest with you, and the inclination. I mean, yes, I want to make music, but I don't want to. I don't want to make it that quickly.
You have to be motivated.
And have it
There's some weeks I haven't done it because I wasn't motivated.
Yeah,
it's just
I find it a bit. Seems a bit too much pressure.
Yeah.
Well, the pressure helps though. I mean, I've done a lot of
whereas,
things in 2 hours,
whereas
3 hours. So.
Going off
and
doing an EMON performance, which to some extent is a bit like a hardware jam if you want to bring it down to basics. That for me seems much more rewarding. The preparation of it.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
I've started.
I fully agree with that.
I'm preparing a whole in advance because I'm doing something different, and I'm always going to do something different when I go and do a performance. Really.
Yeah.
There's only a pressure to fill your slot, fill your time slot, as opposed to actually.
There's more pressure with the live than the hardware jams because people actually sitting there watching. They can throw stuff at you.
You can throw the synths at the screen.
Oh, generally they're a supportive audience.
They can pick your synths up and throw them back at you.
I mean,
they came out of their way to come
things never
see
work,
you
even though they've been working for the past years.
I'd be asking for the chicken wire like the Blues Brothers did.
Well,
Exactly.
China.
Yeah, with beer bottles.
And actually, this
You know
gig,
those,
this
yeah,
gig on the
Cage
1st
Fives?
of
Yeah.
the 1st of February is a paid gig, so you
Cage
have to
Five,
buy a
yeah.
ticket.
Oh.
So that puts an extra. It's not an EMOM, so that's an extra pressure that people are going to be paying to come and see us. There's me and another
Get
5
that chicken
artists.
wire
Oh,
out.
God, you know that.
Yeah.
So is there a no refund
That's when you want
policy
everything
in?
to talk to everything.
I don't know actually, because that's all being handled by the I'll call him a promoter, but the guys who put on Breeze Block beats. So that's they're handling all of that.
Fair enough.
But so
Well, whatever
Ian's going to have
gets
a
you.
panel with the eject buttons on stage. The troublemakers, he can hit eject and they'll fly out of the seat. So
well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
Whatever gets you
the
guys
Jeopardy.
creative.
yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Yep. Now,
Just words sometimes, isn't it, Chris?
Just words.
all I'm saying, if we
Just
got to this point of the show
speaking-
where it's about 10 minutes to go before I probably should wrap it up, I'm just thinking, if you're watching this and you're not on YouTube, if you're watching this on any of the other platforms that we're streaming on, so Twitch, TikTok,
What was your
and Trovo
yeah, what's your
are the
TikTok
other.
handle? What's your
like
TikTok
a
handle?
Ranzee,
TikTok?
Ranzee official. I don't use
Ranzee
TikTok, by the
official.
way.
'Cause-
I don't use TikTok, by the way.
Yeah. So can I follow you on TikTok? Is my question?
Yeah.
Right. Let's try that then. Ranzee official.
So yeah, just let us know if in the comments or whatever. I don't know, whatever platform you've got on that particular software or platform. If you see that, I know there's a few people that watch on Twitch now because they know that I'm streaming on Twitch every week, and there will be, because some people just absolutely detest YouTube, and I don't know why, but they just do. So they just
well,
won't
Google's
use it.
annoying in their own way. So
Yeah. Bearing in mind, Twitch is owned by Amazon, so you can take
they're
that
also
or leave
annoying
it.
in their own way.
Which is why Trovo exists, and it's you think about Twitter, right? Which is X now, and there's now this new one called is it Big Sky? Yeah, it's Big Sky, isn't it?
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky's all right actually. I've been on Blue Sky for quite a while. But they've opened it up now. It was by invitation originally. I don't go on there a lot, but
I'm on Blue Sky as well, and it's Ranzee.com, because if you've got a domain, this is like in Blue Sky. This is like getting the validation tick or something. There you go.
That's a magic sound there.
Yeah, someone's following me. It is a Twitch follow. Inner City Load. Let's set it on there. Okay. Yeah, that's a Twitch follow.
Awesome.
So on Blue Sky, if you've got a domain like I've got Ranzee.com, you can actually connect your domain to it, and you become like verified like on Twitter.
Oh. Cool.
So that's one of the little tricks I learnt through one of the IT guys that I watch on YouTube. So the other thing I wanted to mention too is I've set up a Reddit section now for Synth Geekery. I put it in Discord. By the way, if you're ever wondering, we always talk Discord during the week. Discord, this is the server address if you want to find it, because that's one of the things I don't like about Discord. It's hard to find. Like if you've got Discord, how do you find Ranzee server? It's really you've got to kind of get an invite, and that's the invite there.
It's a little bit weird.
It's a bit weird like that. So yeah, there's Reddit, which is if you know about Reddit handles, it's r/Synth Geekery, and you'll find Synth Geekery. So join that, because just Reddit's just another kind of platform where I kind of feel like it hasn't been too polluted yet by these big tech giants as such yet. So Discord, Microsoft tried to buy Discord at one stage, I believe, didn't they? And I don't think it ever happened. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to keep sort of trying to find ways to get the show out to people that is helpful for them. and the socials that are helpful for them. So one thing that I don't know if you guys notice, but I'm not massively posting on Facebook anymore, and the reason for it is it's just, I just think it's kind of, I don't know, I think it's kind of lost its...
It's just noise.
Yeah.
I find very difficult to
it's
use.
turned into like, if you ever watch Futurama, right? It turned into
Shut
what
up and take my
Futurama said
money.
the internet would become. That's exactly what Facebook's turned into. It's like this massive, huge forum for ads, and it kind of just, I just think, like, you know, there's a point where if you bought, like, put it this way, if you were to go and buy a magazine or a newspaper, and you got maybe 3 pages of reading, and this thing was that thick, and the rest of it was just ads, you wouldn't buy it again. You would think to yourself, oh, why am I paying for this? Like, it's...
But particularly if the
advertisers
ads
pay
were
for it.
in the middle of paragraphs of the article you're reading, which is kind of what you have to put up with. Facebook.
There are actually 2 of us watching on TikTok, so I'm not alone on TikTok.
Ooh. It's definitely not me. I can tell you the other person's not me.
Somebody called... there's 3 of us now. Wow. So somebody called Henry and somebody called Shazney.
Cool.
Hello
TikTokers. I've got nothing against TikTok. It's just I kind of feel like when I go on there, this is going back a while now. It was just full of very, very scattily dressed females dancing, and
Well, it's also just ADD. It's just constant, stuff thrown at your face.
There is
like
still
1 minute.
There's still a bit of that going on.
Yeah, and I just kind of thought it
It's
was
basically,
a little...
remember Vine? Remember the Vine stuff?
Engagement.
Those little short videos? It's like Vines all over again.
Yeah.
So.
In a way, it was
But
more
they've
like...
extended it now because it's up to 3 minutes. In fact, record companies are telling their artists to do their songs
3 minute videos.
3 minutes so that you can get it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Do a short, yeah.
It can be you can do the whole song on TikTok.
Yeah.
And they're still talking about banning it in the
Music are not
US
doing that, by the way,
because of the connection to China. So,
But
may not
it
last.
is a separate company in the US, though. So I don't think they
Oh,
can.
I mentioned this to Rave, and all he did was sat on a wall clock and swore.
He wanted to be on TikTok. Yeah. Right, I'm on TikTok now. You happy, Daren?
Jeez, he's got the
Good
impersonation.
Chris, actually. Well
almost
done.
down pat.
It's like he's in the room. He was in the room with us.
Jeez, where's...
Pinay.
Hidden talent as a voice actor.
I kind of feel like TikTok and some of those other platforms, they, in a way, it's a little bit brainwashy. They get you into that swipe, next video, swipe, and you before you know it, you've done
engagement.
Yeah.
Engagement. It's all about the engagement.
Instant
And
gratification.
it's so annoying that you can't turn. You have to turn the volume down on your phone if you're watching it on your phone. You can't mute it in any other way.
Mute. Oh, that's so annoying.
Right.
You know.
I remember when
if
when
you
that
mute
was
it,
you
like
can-
that,
Instagram- Instagram you can mute. You can turn it. You can turn the sound down.
You didn't
and
used to be able to
watch
originally.
Yeah, and I suppose
Instagram even lets you add a plugin. You guys haven't seen this. You can add a plugin to your browser to get an actual playback bar, so you can jump around videos.
All right, cool. No, I didn't know that.
I don't actually. I
Go
don't
do
use
that. Yeah,
Instagram
it's good.
either.
Can't do it in the app.
So yeah, I'm kind of You won't see me there. I think there's better uses of our time.
Just while you're
YouTube's
talking about that, here's a plug. There is now a Sinners Music Instagram page, which is not being run by me, but Jason is not putting lots of content up, but once a week there's a new thing going up. So there's something going up today. So if you want to follow Sinners Music, we're on Instagram.
Good.
Thank you.
I'm on Instagram. It's just Ranz-Adamson. If you want to follow me on there, I do post the odd picture on there. If I can be bothered, I'll get my digital SLR camera out, and I do close up photos of gear. Yeah. I like doing that. It's cool.
It's good fun.
Like this, this like that. Close up photo of a keyboard. Because I had no idea what to put as a graphic for today's show.
Exactly.
It's a new year.
Good.
What do we
Something
do?
quick.
Good.
Yeah.
But Facebook seems to be full of old people these days.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
The kids
on
have
it.
left
not as hip
Facebook.
as it was.
Well, yeah.
It's the only way I can keep
Well, yeah,
up.
that's because we're getting old.
I'm
Yes.
including myself in that. I mean, I don't go on Facebook a lot, and I haven't done for quite a few years. But
Yeah.
I just use it as a promotion tool. So if I put a
Ranzee,
video
if you
out,
want an extreme close up, send me a swipe of your keys and I'll do a microscope shot of what was on your key there. So.
I've got the microscope camera back there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean a real microscope.
Oh,
That's
you mean a real
1,000 power,
microscope?
right? So,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
It is going deep.
He'll,
Yeah,
Yes.
You're
He'll fire
going
up-
into the
he'll
all the
fire up
bacteria
the
on there and
electron-
everything.
the molecular level of the plastic.
When you're getting your electron microscope.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to know.
That's what I was
Love to
trying to
have
think
one,
of, an
can't afford
electron
it.
microscope.
I want to start to see some photos of string theory. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, it's been already debunked.
Quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
String theory's been debunked.
Has it?
It's all lies. It's
Higgs
just a
boson
simulation.
debunked
We're
it
all in.
basically.
Well. All right. Well, on that bitter disappointment, I was a firm believer in string theory. You've just
Yeah.
ruined my day. No, I'm just kidding. We should
Lots
probably
of
wrap the show
plenty more
up.
theories.
I was looking forward to strumming that string theory. Yeah.
Boom, boom. Shh. Yes.
Yeah, nice one, Chris.
Anyway, guys, let's end the show. See you guys next Saturday. Hey, enjoy your
Yeah,
week.
we'll be here. Have a
Don't
good
forget
week.
to press record.
Take care.
Be nice to the partner.
Oh,
everybody.
Take care, everyone.
I won't be here next week, or I'll be late next week.
Okay.
I have a birthday party to go
Okay,
to,
mate.
so
All right.
I'll check in if I get the time.
Bring us
Otherwise,
some
you
cake.
guys have fun.
We'll have some cake.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Come
There
on
will be
here
cake.
drunk. I don't mind. It's completely fine.
Well, I've done that. I've done that several times before, so I won't stop.
Yeah.
All right, guys. All the best.
See you in your synth stream in a couple hours. So see
See you guys.
See you guys
Yeah.
there. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.